The moment he swallowed it in one gulp, rumble, 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 500 lie to the east, suddenly came a burst of a cataclysmic, earth-shattering explosion. Colossal mushroom cloud shot into the sky. The terrifying energy shockwave even reached here, shaking the entire cavern even more violently. That was the 3,000 clones led by Ada, beginning to self-destruct without hesitation. There are still other flies on my own turf. In the abyssal demon dragon's single eye was instantly filled with savagery and madness. He was thoroughly enraged. The treasure he had guarded for 10,000 years had made him extremely sensitive and irritable. He didn't even glance at Chonglu again. His massive body transformed into a black bolt of lightning and vanished in an instant, charging toward the direction of the explosion. Now is the time. Golden light flashed in Asan's eyes, leading 100 clones. Like a wisp of green smoke, they instantly dashed into the demon dragon's lair. At the center of the lair was a pool formed from natural crystal stones. The pool was filled with a viscous liquid emitting a golden glow. That is the demon god's marrow fluid. Suck it. All of you, damn it, suck it dry. Asan and the other clones took out a palm-sized, unremarkable black gourd, pulled out the stopper and aimed it at the pool. A terrifying suction force came from the gourd's mouth. The entire pool of demon god's marrow fluid, like a cloth absorbing water, turned into a golden water dragon, swiftly being sucked into the gourd. In just 5 breaths' time. Boss, it's done. Asan shouted excitedly. Wait, just as he was about to retreat, the corner of his eye suddenly caught sight of something at the bottom of the pool. It was a bone the size of a human head, completely black yet emitting a faint, profound aura. It looked like something valuable. Asan's heart pounded wildly. Forget the rest. Pry it out. 100 clones immediately surrounded it, pulling out all kinds of bizarre tools, special pry bars, massive iron shovels, and even a few clones took out drills specifically for breaking formations. 1, 2, 3 lift. 100 clones strained together. That bone deeply buried at the pool's bottom let out a teeth-grinding crack as it was forcibly pried loose. Good, but just then, a roar filled with boundless fury and murderous intent echoed from far to near. The abyssal demon dragon had returned. He realized he had been tricked. A black dragon breath, like a death ray, instantly tore through the void, spitting directly toward the cave entrance retreat. Asan grabbed the bone and without hesitation activated the system teleportation. But the dozens of clones on the outermost rearguard didn't even have time to scream before they were instantly vaporized by that terrifying dragon breath, leaving not even a trace behind. A flash of white light, Asan and the remaining clones, along with that priceless demon god's bone, just a moment before the dragon breath arrived, vanished without a trace, leaving only the empty pool, and the abyssal demon dragon, driven to madness with rage, venting his impotent fury in the demon abyss. Inside the heavenly court's small world, the moment the gourd containing the demon god's marrow fluid, and that demon god's bone appeared, the spiritual energy of the entire small world boiled over. Heavens, it really is the demon god's marrow fluid, and a bone containing fragments of the Dao. The little enchantress flew around the 2 treasures excitedly, almost drooling. This fluid is enough to let your Chonglu clone, boss, break through to the incarnation stage. And this bone is the perfect material for forging a divine artifact. Yitian paid no heed to her excitement. His gaze was completely captivated by that bone. He reached out to touch it. The moment his fingertip made contact, a vast and chaotic torrent of information violently surged into his mind. It was an incredibly domineering and supremely evil ancient demonic art, the heaven-devouring demon art. It could directly devour others' cultivation and primordial spirit, turning them into one's own power. Compared to his previous heavenly demon, undying body, this was countless times more advanced. Outside, the entire northern domain of the demon realm had been thrown into utter chaos by a frenzied abyssal demon dragon that had charged out of its territory. Meanwhile, Dai Tian gripped the rice grains in his hand, and a faint smile curled at the corner of his mouth. It was time to forge the first batch of his very own nascent soul-level enforcers. Chapter 27, Nascent Soul Clone Shifting the Blame. Inside the heavenly court's small world, using spirit stones, he had the little demon girl adjust the flow of time to its extreme limit. One day outside, 10 years here, Dai Tian sat cross-legged on a cushion in the Heaven-Earth Palace, his mind sinking into stillness. Before him, The little demon girl hovered in midair, her hands forming seals, her small face serious. Behind him was a massive array of clones, some reading books, some sitting cross-legged, conducting experiments on spiritual energy circulation. All insights and experiences converged into a vast torrent of data, continuously analyzed and organized by the little demon girl. The temporary mountain of resources in the storage space was being consumed at a rapid pace. They were deducing the subsequent cultivation techniques, using the heaven-devouring demon art as a foundation, merging it with the heavenly demon undying body, and incorporating countless techniques and scriptures plundered from the demon realm. From this they deduced and refined a supreme demonic art suited for Chonglu's clone cultivation. On the other side, Chonglu sat cross-legged at the spirit spring's eye, his entire body completely enveloped by golden divine demon lotus leaves. These waters had been specially prepared for him by Dai Tian. Chonglu's demonic bloodline was the purest, making him, among all the clones, the most suitable vessel for absorbing the power of the demon god. Using him to break through to nascent soul yielded the best results. Time flew within the small world. Finally, after 3 days had passed in the outside world, the little demon girl finished her deduction. A trace of weariness showed on her small face, but far more excitement. She tossed a pitch-black jade slip to Dai Tian. The new technique, Heaven-Earth Annihilation, can also be cultivated to the void refining stage via the demon god's scroll, and it perfectly accommodates dual cultivation of immortal and demon arts, with no conflict between them. The domineering and unparalleled demonic energy surged from the center of the spirit spring, stirring the winds and clouds of the entire small world. Chonglu slowly opened his eyes, 2 beams of blood-red divine light flashing and vanishing. His aura, he had firmly stepped into the demon lord realm, which corresponded to the early nascent soul stage for human cultivators. Moreover, thanks to the blessing of the new demon god technique and the baptism of the demon god's waters, his foundation was solid, and his aura was so vigorous it reached perfection. Dai Tian took the jade slip, swept his divine sense over it, and a satisfied expression appeared on his face. Excellent without any hesitation, he immediately ordered the little demon girl to consume all remaining stockpiled resources, to synchronize Ada, Ayer, and Asan, all 301, to the early nascent soul stage. At Dai Tian's command, mountains of demon crystals and spirit stones were again consumed at a visible rate, depleting rapidly. The auras of Ada, Ayer, Asan, and the other one began to rise steadily, under the dual boost of the new technique and a sea of resources. Their nascent souls began to transform, and around them swirled the unique laws of nascent soul cultivators. With this, under Dai Tian's command, he now possessed 5 genuine nascent soul-level combat forces. Now was the time to send the Demon Emperor a grand gift. Dai Tian stood up, his gaze turning to the outside world. At this moment, the northern domain of the demon realm was in utter chaos. That frenzied abyssal demon dragon, after charging out of its territory, destroyed everything in its path, already obliterating several demon cities in succession. Even several demon lords at the nascent soul level had been crushed into meat paste by a single claw. The demon emperor dispatched a demon venerable to suppress this rampaging beast. Dai Tian keenly seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A glint of calculation flashed in his eyes. He said to the little demon girl, "Demon Emperor, wasn't he searching for the culprit who seized the demon god's inheritance? Then give him a territory of the Black Eye Demon clan in the demon realm. The Black Eye Demon clan and the Demon Emperor's lineage are both among the topmost royal clans of the demon realm. The 2 sides have never been on good terms, locked in countless open and covert struggles for 10,000 years. Outside a remote Black Eye clan mining city, space twisted slightly, and Chonglu's figure silently emerged. He glanced at the city's highest cultivation demon generals, and a cold smirk curled at the corner of his mouth. The next moment, disguised as an envoy of the other royal clan, the Black Eye clan, he deliberately left traces of the Black Eye clan's unique techniques at several plundered sites. Raising his hand, a massive black nightmare phantom materialized behind him. With a single palm strike, the city's defensive grand formation shattered instantly, before the tens of thousands of demons in the city could react. The nightmare power descending from the heavens corroded their minds, plunging them one by one into eternal nightmares. Their life force severed, Changlu strolled through the city, waving his hand casually, to collect the corpses of the city's high-ranking officials. After all this was done, he flickered, he vanished from the spot. Days later, outside the Black Eye clan's main camp, locked in a standoff with the Demon Emperor's Qingwei army. Space split open, and several gruesomely mutilated corpses were tossed out. Precisely the Black Eye clan elders Changlu had killed. Bloodthirsty demon art. How dare they? Do they truly think our Black Eye clan has no one? The already tense situation ignited instantly. Black Eye clan Demon Venerable struck in fury, clashing with the commander of the Demon Emperor's Qingwei army, a fellow Demon Venerable. In a fierce battle before the two armies, a localized war erupted at once. The armies of both sides collided like two black torrents, crashing violently together, the roar of battle shaking the heavens, flesh and blood flying everywhere. High atop a mountain far from the battlefield, Dai Tian watched coldly through Changlu's vision, observing it all. Prepare the cleaning crew, he ordered. Wait until both sides withdraw their troops, leaving the battlefield a mess. Then led over 1,000 nascent soul clones, rushing in like hounds, catching the scent of blood. Move faster. Don't damage that demon lord's corpse over there. Take it back for the little demon girl to study. Pick up all those broken demonic energy fragments from the ground. Reforge them. They can still be used. Collect all the blood on the ground. This is good stuff. They worked like the most efficient scavengers, stripping the battlefield of everything valuable, leaving nothing behind. Dai Tian sat on the mountain, watching the tigers fight, then swooping in to loot. Profiting from both sides, the resource vault of the small world swelled at an astonishing speed once more. Just as he thought everything was under control, an unexpected message came from Changlu's spy clone, planted in the Demon Emperor's palace. Boss, that demonic brat Yu has come out of seclusion, and he successfully stepped into the nascent soul stage. Dai Tian frowned. So what if he's out? Does he think he can do something? He begged the Demon Emperor for an ancient treasure, the sky-searching mirror, and swore to personally dig us out 3 feet deep, to avenge his shame. The moment the words fell, somewhere in the demon realm, who was cleaning up the battlefield in Black Eye clan territory, suddenly felt a tremor in his heart. He jerked his head up and saw 10,000 miles away in the sky, a dazzling golden light shooting into the heavens. An ancient mirror hung in the air, its golden light sweeping like water over mountains and rivers. The next second, that golden light seemed to come alive, locking onto him with pinpoint precision. At the same time, Yiyu's voice, dripping with venom and glee, carried by the sky-searching mirror's power, resounded across the entire demon realm. Found you, you rat. Wait for it. I'll be right there, to personally twist your head off. From the distant horizon, tens of thousands of powerful auras were tearing through the sky at an astonishing speed toward Al's location. Inside the heavenly court's small world, a faint smile curled at the corner of his mouth. Far from panicking, he actually smiled. Finally, they're here. Got the real target, haven't you? No, what you've caught is just another surprise I prepared for you. Meticulously planned counter-ambush had just begun its opening act. Chapter 28, luring the enemy into a dream, the demon heart on them. The moment the sky-searching mirror locked onto him, Al's demonic aura froze solid. That feeling, like being stared down by an invisible primordial beast, sent a bone-chilling dread surging from the depths of his soul. Boss, I've been locked. Al immediately connected his mind to Dishan. Inside the heavenly court's small world, Dishan gazed at the impossibly precise golden beam, spanning 10,000 miles on the light screen. Yet not a trace of panic showed on his face. What's there to panic about? Dishan's voice was calm, without a single ripple. Since they're coming, let's give them a proper welcome. He paused, a hint of amusement creeping into his tone. Find a valley with good feng shui, and raise our banner there. Call it Heaven Blasting Gang. Make the characters big and bold. Let's give our honored guests a warm reception. The other man blinked, then grinned. Got it. Far from fleeing, he swaggered off, toward a gourd-shaped canyon, on the border of the dark-eyed clan's territory. Moments later, a massive banner hastily stitched, from Demon Beast Hide, was planted at the canyon's most conspicuous entrance. With a long spear, The crooked, flamboyant characters crackled in the demon wind. Heaven blasting gang. After finishing, he simply dragged over a large rock, planted himself at the canyon mouth like a lord, crossed his legs and waited for the show. Within the time it takes an incense stick to burn, a vast fleet of tens of thousands of elite demon troops tore through the clouds, blotting out the blood moon. Aboard the lead warship, Yu, clad in heavy armor, held the sky-searching mirror, his face twisted with fury as he glared down. When he saw the arrogant banner at the canyon mouth, and the figure lounging beneath it, as if sunbathing in his own backyard, the rage in his eyes nearly erupted, ready to incinerate everything below. It's him, that mask. Yu gritted his teeth, pointing at Al. His voice trembled with sheer fury. I'll tear him apart with my own hands, Your Highness. Your Highness, something's off. A demon-crowned deputy stepped forward, his expression grave. This man stands alone without fear, and the canyon is shrouded in mist. There's likely a trap, having been burned once before. Yu forced down the urge to charge in. He let out a cold snort. Send a vanguard squad to scout ahead. 1,000 elite demon soldiers formed the vanguard, charging like wolves into the mist-shrouded valley. And then nothing. No screams, no clash of spells, not even a ripple of energy. Those 1,000 elite soldiers vanished like stones dropped into the sea. Vanished without a trace. This eerie silence made every demon general on the warship uneasy. Yu's face darkened, but he still had one last trump card. He raised the sky-searching mirror, pouring his dense demonic energy into it. Golden light swirled across the mirror's surface. The mist in the canyon peeled away layer by layer, revealing a blurry scene. In the mirror, only thousands of indistinct figures could be seen lurking throughout the valley. Their auras were all around the nascent soul level. Yu, seeing this, the last shred of doubt in his heart vanished like smoke. He let out a laugh, filled with arrogance and disdain. I see. Just relying on a clever illusion array. All bluff and bluster. Last time you caught me off guard, I was careless. This time I've brought 100,000 troops, and numerous treasures bestowed by my master. Let's see what you have to stop me. All troops hear my command. Yu waved his hand grandly, pointing downward. The canyon, like the maw of a giant beast, let out a hysterical roar. Level that valley for this prince. Leave no one inside alive. The order was given. The demon army's fleet, blotting out the sky, like an unstoppable black torrent, with an aura of utter destruction, surged madly into the canyon. Just as the last demon vessel entered the canyon mouth, a thunderous boom shook the heavens. The mountain walls on both sides suddenly slammed shut, sealing the entrance completely. Then, 12 thick, pillar-like dark red beams of light shot up from all around the valley, high in the sky, weaving into a massive energy net, sealing off the entire area. 12 heavenly demon grand formation modified version activated. Damn it, we've fallen into a trap. Yu's face changed drastically. But what made his scalp tingle even more was yet to come. The mist shrouding the valley silently dissipated. On both sides of the valley, which had seemed empty, on the towering cliffs that pierced the clouds, at some unknown time, countless figures now stood densely packed. Black robes, pale masks, icy gazes, not just a few thousand. Looking out, from the foot of the mountain to the peak, layer upon layer, boundless and endless, a full 20,000 cultivators, like a silent legion of death, looking down from above, coldly watching the demon army in chaos below. At the very front, Al brushed the dust off his clothes, standing shoulder to shoulder with Chang Lu, who had appeared from nowhere. Two genuine divine transformation auras, like two invisible mountains, pressed heavily on every demon's heart. The canyon fell into a deathly silence. All the demons stopped in their tracks, staring blankly at this hellish scene, their minds blank. Welcome to, Al grinned, revealing a mouthful of stark white teeth, his voice dripping with bloodthirsty arrogance, the territory of the exploding heaven gang. He gave the demons no time to think. He simply raised his hand and uttered one word, kill. No earth-shattering divine ability duels. No flashy magical artifact contests. Only the purest, most savage, most unreasonable firepower suppression. 20,000 clones, at the same moment, silently raised their right hands, fingers pointed like arrows toward the ground below. 20,000 beams of annihilation light, enough to pierce mountains and moons, converged in midair into a brilliant, extreme energy river carrying the might to purify all things. Silently swept through where the river passed, the foremost 10,000 demon soldiers, along with their demon vessels, were erased like pencil marks under an eraser, vaporized in an instant, leaving not even a trace of ash. A strange vacuum zone appeared on the battlefield. At that moment, Yiyu's heart sank halfway. He finally understood what kind of monsters he was truly facing. Stop him, Yiyu roared in terror. But it was already too late. Chang Lu's figure had already locked onto the most ornate flagship. He held the demon god Bone Blade, stolen from the abyss of demons, took one step forward, and his form appeared before Yiyu like a ghost. The divine transformation aura erupted fully. One slash of the blade, no flash of light, no sound of wind, only a pure, black rift that seemed to split heaven and earth, descending straight toward Yiyu's head. The two demons clashed into battle in an instant. After merely a dozen exchanges, Yiyu felt the gap. After all, even if Yiyu was the child of destiny, he could not withstand the absolute advantage of laying the ultimate foundation at every single realm of heaven and earth. Yiyu's heart and guts trembled violently. All his arrogance and confidence were shattered to pieces before that blade light. Without a second thought, he raised the sky-searching mirror in his hands to block before him. With a thunderous crash, the demon god's bone blade struck the sky-searching mirror solidly. This ancient treasure let out a mournful cry and was instantly sent flying away. Its spiritual light dimmed. Yiyu was struck as if by lightning. His entire body blasted backward violently. Blood sprayed wildly from his mouth. Changlu's eyes were icy cold. Without the slightest pause, he closed in. One claw reached for Yiyu's throat, preparing to capture him alive. But just as his fingertips were about to touch Yiyu's skin, an invisible force, a rejection from the entire demon realm's heaven and earth, violently acted upon his hand, causing his movement to stall for a mere 1,000th of a moment. In that instant, blood-colored jade talisman on Yiyu's chest shattered with a bang, transforming into a thick blood light that enveloped him. The blood light flashed, tearing through the void, carrying him away from the spot, vanishing to an unknown direction. Changlu grasped at empty air, slowly withdrawing his hand. The slaughter of the demon lords in the Canaan continued. Within the heavenly court's minor world, Yitian stared at the spot where Guangmu Shanghai had vanished again, remaining silent for a long time. He ran again, truly worthy of being the heavens' favored bastard. Fucking hard to catch. Chapter 29, The Battlefield Cleaner. The Demon Emperor's Roar. Yiyu had fled. The blood light flashed, fast beyond reason, that bizarre rejection force of heaven and earth, as if the entire demon realm was favoring him. Changlu halted in place, not bothering to pursue. The monk may run, but the temple can't. The slaughter in the Canaan was nearing its end. 100,000 elite demon lords, facing 20,000 invincible clones of the same rank, in a relentless barrage of spells without regard for cost, were as fragile as paper. Stop the battle, standing on a blood-stained boulder. Erdan roared with full force. All the clones moved in perfect unison, stopping instantly. Only dying moans remained in the Canaan. We're professionals. Erdan weighed a demon blade he just swiped, grinning. Killing is just the foreplay. Making money is the real deal. Zio Man Kai Gong give the order. With a single command, the scene shifted abruptly. Moments ago, they were cold-blooded killing machines. Now they were all efficient scavengers. Strip every last piece of armor and weapon clean for me. That flagship's keel is good stuff. Don't just stand there, dismantle it, and take it away. Pack the corpses whole. The little demoness needs them for research. Whoever breaks them gets their bonus docked. Asan leading a squad of clones, each armed with a spade, dug into the earth with grunts of effort. This soil is a treasure. Soaked with the blood of 100,000 demon lords, use it as fertilizer. And the spiritual herbs will go crazy. Dig 3 feet down for me. Half an hour later, the Canaan was transformed. Not just the corpses and equipment, but even the shattered remnants of demon artifacts were sorted and dismantled for transport. The blood-soaked earth was scraped clean 3 feet deep. Not even the moss in the stone crevices was spared. The entire Canaan was as clean as if the Canaan was transformed. It had been thoroughly washed. Even the ground had sunk half a meter, exposing the pale virgin soil beneath. Full back, a flash of white light. 20,000 clones vanished without a trace. 20,000 clones vanished without a trace. The atmosphere in the heavenly court small world was as lively as New Year's. The boss is rich. We're filthy rich. The little demon girl plunged headfirst into a mountain-sized pile of modules. She rolled back and forth in bliss. Emperor Scorpion was already seated on his throne, sipping spirit tea. He gazed at the mountain of spoils below. His mood was exceedingly pleasant. The tally is done. The little demon girl held up a list. Her small face lit up. 80 million low-grade modules. 3 million mid-grade modules. Over 50,000 various-grade magical artifacts. Enough recycled materials to last us a long time. Plus a massive pile of high-ranked demon corpses. I even extracted a memory crystal from one demon emperor's corpse. The little demon girl rolled over on the treasure mountain. She sat up abruptly. Her small face was brimming with ecstasy. Boss, this time we looted so much that the system directly unlocked a new function. She waved her little hand. A beam of light unfolded before Dai Tian. Ta-da! The great clone fusion function is now active. We can fuse multiple clones into one super fighter. Finally, it's here. Dai Tian studied the detailed function description. His eyes burned with intensity. Boss, look at this. The little demon girl handed over the memory crystal. Dai Tian swept his divine sense over it. A smirk curled at the corner of his mouth. The infernal blood pool. The royal clan's forbidden healing ground. Based on the protagonist setups from my past life's TV shows and novels. You most likely went there. He wants to heal his wounds. Then let's go add some seasoning for him. He has a demon emperor backing him, so he might have other life-saving tricks up his sleeve. Then I'll give him a grand gift. Then let's make a small breakthrough first. His voice echoed throughout the small world. Little demon girl, initiate the fusion. Use the perfect nascent soul clone, Chang. Lu as the main body. Da Al and Fudai mobilize 3,000 nascent soul. Perfection clones for consumption. Spend 2 million mid-grade modules. Build me a big one. Deep within the burning heaven demon domain, inside the blood pool. Yu was soaking in the boiling blood water, repairing his nearly shattered demonic core. Jatian Bang he growled hoarsely. His eyes were filled with venomous hatred. Just give me 1 month, and I'll recover to my peak, or even break through further. These barriers were personally set by my master. Absolutely foolproof. Boom! A heaven-shaking, earth-shattering explosion shattered his sweet dream. He looked up in horror. He saw that the 9-layered barrier, hailed as indestructible, was now being torn apart layer by layer by a giant hand covered in purple gold scales. Like ripping cheap wrapping paper, a figure with 3 heads and 6 arms, like an ancient demon god, crammed itself into this space. Its terrifying aura was infinitely close to the void tribulation stage. All 3 heads lowered at once. 6 eyes stared with keen interest at Yu in the pool. The mouth on the middle head split open into an exaggerated grin, emitting a deep, rumbling laugh. Prince Yu taking a bath. Is the water temperature to your liking? I heard you wanted to heal your wounds. Perfect timing, our Jia Tianbang just launched a new premium private tutoring service right at your doorstep. Yu was completely stunned. His very soul trembled. How do you know I'm here? No need to be polite. Let's start the lesson. That monster, which Dai Tian had named Mara, leapt straight into the blood pool. Boiling blood splashed all over Yu's face. Mara grabbed his ankle with one hand and lifted him upside down. First lesson, full body muscle activation training. Bam, bam, bam. Yu was swung like a human warhammer, smashed against the cave walls. The sound of shattering bones rang out endlessly. What made his soul want to split apart was that the monster had no intention of killing him. Mara used one hand to grip his ankle as a weapon, while his other 5 hands, that monster never intended to kill him. Mara grabbed his ankle with one hand and used him as a weapon. With the other 5 hands, he was openly forming hand seals. The entire bloodstone transformed into a massive vortex. All the pure energy bypassed Yu, surging into Mo Luo like rivers returning to the sea. Yu's voice was hoarse, on the verge of collapse. He could clearly feel the nascent soul he had just barely repaired, being forcibly torn from his body. That sense of powerlessness was more agonizing than death itself. Stop. Leave me a little. Dream on. Mo Luo's 6 hands moved in unison, and his devouring speed surged again. This little bathwater isn't even enough to fill my teeth. The blood pool quickly ran dry. Yu had become a puddle of sludge. Just as Mo Luo was about to wrap up, a heart-protecting mirror on Yu's chest exploded with a bang. A phantom entirely formed of magma rose from the flames. The terrifying pressure of a refining void cultivator caused the entire space to collapse. Mo Dai's divine clone again, you rats. Mo Dai's rage coalesced into a sky-covering giant hand, slamming down from above. Facing this lethal strike, Mo Luo's 3 heads all bared ferocious grins at the same time. Old bastard, we've been waiting for you. 6 arms clenched into fists. Purple gold scales burst forth, and violent power gathered within his body. Let me show you the power of money. Demon God Fist 3,000 times amplification pain. Mo Luo didn't retreat, he charged forward. 6 fists merging into a torrent of destruction, meeting the sky-covering giant hand head-on. Note Demon Realm cultivation levels and Immortal Realm cultivation levels. I forgot to post them earlier. Now I'm making up for it. Kai Refining, Foundation Establishment, Core Formation, Nascent Soul. Deity Transformation, Refining Void, Unity. Great Vehicle, Tribulation Transcendence, Scattered Immortal. Demon Realm, Demon Soldier, Demon General. Demon Commander, Demon Lord, Demon Emperor, Demon Venerable, Demon. Sage, Demon Emperor, Demon God. Chapter 30, Fusion of the Clone. Facing Mo Dai, the magma surged, and crimson flames lit up the dim underground cavern brilliantly. 2 terrifying forces clashed violently in midair. On one side, a sky-covering giant hand, formed entirely from the Earth's core magma, carrying the crushing law pressure of the refining void stage. On the other side, 6 iron fists gleaming with purple gold light, a brutal aesthetic of pure power and wealth. At the center of the explosion, there was no stalemate as expected. The sky-covering giant hand was blasted clean through, leaving 6 gaping holes. Magma rained down like a storm, hissing and burning as it hit the ground. Mo Luo hovered in midair, shaking all 3 heads slightly, as if adjusting to the violent recoil force. So this is refining void. The middle head curled its lips, its tone flippant. Pretty strong punch, but doesn't seem very durable. The magma churned, rapidly repairing the giant hand, which then condensed into 100-jang-tall flame giant. The demon's face was blurry, but the rage and killing intent from the depths of its soul nearly solidified into substance. Insolent ant, let's see how long you can hold out. The demon emperor's phantom spoke, its voice like rolling thunder, making the entire blood pool hell space tremble. Countless spatial cracks spread like a spiderweb. You are no demon clan. The demon emperor's phantom's voice was no longer pure rage, but mixed with shock and gravity. On the giant face of magma, cracks opened and closed. This power fuses thousands of souls, yet is condensed into one. What exactly are you? Inside the heavenly court's small world, Dai Tian sat cross-legged on his throne, with 6 light screens floating before him, broadcasting the battle from all angles. He grabbed a handful of top-grade demon stones, like snacks, and casually tossed them into the small mountain of spirit stones before him. How long can he hold out? Dai Tian looked at the light screen, at Mo Dai's arrogant demeanor, and sneered, that depends on how much money I have. Little demon girl, max out the output power. Don't hold back on spending. Today, let him see what a pay-to-win player looks like. Completely seal off their aura. The little demoness shouted excitedly. Her small hands flew across the control panel. Energy transmission channel expanded. Temporary combustion efficiency at 300%. Activating infinite firepower mode. As the command was issued, the mountain of demon stones piled up in the small world instantly, shattered, transforming into a torrent of pure, ultimate energy. Crossing through space, it poured endlessly into Mara's body. In the blood pool of purgatory, Mara, whose aura had been waning, suddenly roared up to the heavens. The purple gold scales on his body stood up one by one, emitting a dazzling divine light. The dried-up meridians within his body were instantly filled. In fact, because the energy was so abundant. On the surface of his skin, tendrils of golden lightning began to seep out. Good stuff, watch closely. Mara's 6 arms spun simultaneously, his body swelling by a full size. Instead of retreating, he charged forward, actively rushing toward the Demon Emperor's projection. Demon God's wild dance. Aura, 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 no fancy techniques at all. Just speed, just ferocity. His fists turned into a blur of afterimages filling the sky. Each punch carried terrifying kinetic force enough to shatter mountains and moons. Bang, 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 bang. The dense sound of strikes rained down like a torrent, merging into one continuous roar. The Demon Emperor's projection had just raised its hand to unleash a divine ability, when it was met with a relentless barrage of punches, beaten back step after step. Magma splattered, firelight burst in all directions. In that moment, the majesty of the Void Refinement Realm was utterly shattered. The Demon Emperor's projection was stunned by the assault. This defied all common sense. How could anyone have an inexhaustible supply of spiritual power? The energy consumed by each punch was enough to drain a nascent soul cultivator dry. This guy had thrown over 1,000 punches, and he wasn't even out of breath. Get lost, the Demon Emperor's projection roared, unleashing a burst of law-based power around it, trying to shake off this mad dog-like monster. Get lost yourself. Mara didn't bother defending at all. Facing the impact of the laws, the purple-gold light on his body dimmed for an instant, only to erupt again with even greater ferocity. The left head controlled by Al roared, the boss said. Beat him to death. The main head controlled by Chonglu had icy-cold eyes. Seizing the moment, he merged all 6 arms into one, and with a single hand chop, struck fiercely at the Demon Emperor's projection's chest. With a crisp crack, the core formed by the laws was actually split by a crack. The Demon Emperor's projection trembled violently, its aura instantly wilting. After all, this was just a wisp of divine will. The clone's energy was limited. Faced with such a reckless, unyielding fighting style, it simply couldn't afford to drag things out. Just then, suddenly and even more terrifying, even more vast and boundless pressure, faintly emanated from the depths of the void. The spatial barriers began to ripple violently, as if some colossal entity was forcibly crossing the realms. The main body is coming. First Day's eyes sharpened. He immediately ordered a retreat from the battlefield. Mara paused in his movements. He glanced at the tottering Demon Emperor's projection, and all 3 heads showed a look of regret. What a shame. Give me a little more time, and I'd have refined this clone of yours into lamp oil, sis. Mara's figure retreated rapidly, but he didn't flee directly. Instead, he changed direction, charging toward Yayu, who had long since collapsed in the corner. By now, Yayu was sprawled on the ground like a pile of mud. The clash of gods just now. Even the shockwaves had left him dazed and disoriented. His newly healed bones were broken again, 7 or 8 times over. Seeing that murderous fiend charging at him, Yayu's eyes were filled with terror. He opened his mouth to shout, but no sound came out. Prince Yayu, the service is over, but I still need to collect some interest. Mara stood beside him without even looking at him. A massive hand shot out like lightning, grabbing hold of Yayu's newly regrown thigh. This is truly ridiculous. Blood sprayed as he coughed it up. You didn't even have time to feel the pain. He could only watch as his left leg left his body. Then Mara's other hand moved with practiced ease across his body, snatching the ancient jade pendant hanging from his neck, the one that had survived the earlier battle. Only then did a heart-wrenching scream finally erupt. After that, he turned around, and facing the furious, raging Mo Dai Zui charging toward him, made an extremely standard, insulting gesture that crossed all boundaries. He raised his middle finger. Old Donxi, this kid still needs more training. Next time, remember to bring more bodyguards. These people just aren't enough. With a bang, a white light flashed. The teleportation activated, just as the main body of the realm tore through the spatial barrier, and extended 1 foot. It saw that white light enveloping Mara, vanishing without a trace, leaving not even a tail of spatial fluctuation behind. A roar loud enough to shatter the stars rang out across the entire Fen Tian demon domain, causing countless experts there to speculate about what had happened to make the 9 Nether Demon Emperor so furious. The Demon Emperor's phantom could no longer hold on, and exploded directly. The violent energy instantly destroyed the entire underground cavern. That blood pool of hell, which had existed for 10,000 years, evaporated in an instant. Amid the ruins, you lay alone in a pile of rubble. He stared blankly at the collapsed dome above, at his body with only one leg, feeling the empty demonic source within him. The blood pool was destroyed. His leg was gone, and the protective jade pendant was also lost. Even the strongest trump card left by his master had been forcibly shattered right before his eyes. Xia Tianbengyu's eyes turned bloodshot as he stared fixedly at the direction where Mara had vanished. A hoarse, rasping sound came from his throat, the sound of extreme anger and venom. Tearing apart his vocal cords, he suddenly bit down hard on his own arm, tearing off a piece of flesh, using the searing pain to etch this bone-deep humiliation into his memory. Little event from the heavenly court, I'm back. On the square, a white light flashed. Mara's massive body crashed to the ground with a thud. The moment he landed, that imposing three-headed, six-armed form instantly disintegrated, transforming back into streams of light. Adara and Chang Lu sat pale-faced on the ground, gasping heavily for air. Although Chang Lu could still stand, the hand gripping his blade trembled slightly. Of the 3,000 clone avatars used as fuel, more than half had died outright. This battle was exhilarating, but the cost was also terrifying. Boss lucky to be alive, although was exhausted like a dead dog. He still raised, the spoils in his hand, that bloody leg and the jade pendant. This leg, feed it to Wang Kai. Asked with a smile. Dai Tian ignored the leg, his gaze falling on the jade pendant. The pendant was plain and unadorned, but in the system's view, it emitted a faint golden glow. Special item detected. Key item for the ancient immortal demon battlefield ruins. Item description. One of the keys to open the ancient battlefield. Good stuff. Dai Tian smiled. How is he a child of destiny? He's more like the most diligent courier. Every time we meet, no matter how badly he's beaten, he always brings me some surprises. Little demon girl, take that leg for refinement. Dai Tian casually ordered. The flesh and blood of a child of destiny, even just a leg, contains rich laws of fortune. It's a great supplement. Don't waste it. Got it, boss, little demon girl, who had somehow pulled out a giant syringe, rushed toward the leg with gleaming eyes. After handling the spoils, Dai Tian turned his gaze to the outside world. The demon realm, this has stirred up too much trouble. The demon emperor will definitely go mad. In the coming time, the demon realm's search efforts will reach their peak. It might even spill over into the surrounding minor worlds. Bell Tower, you return to the demon realm and continue lying low. We need to steady this game in the demon realm for now. Dai Tian tapped his fingers lightly on the armrest, countless plans flashing through his mind. Our foundation is still too shallow. Apart from plundering, we have no stable source of resources. And staying this high profile all along will easily lure out those old monsters. Time to switch maps and play elsewhere. Dai Tian's mind stirred, and the scene in the light projection shifted. In the image, a child wearing split-crotch pants but with deep eyes was sitting cross-legged on a large stone at the village entrance, contemplating life, a 3-year-old. He appeared right in the center of the frame. Lin Fan, the one Lin Yi brought back from Niujia village, the chosen one. During this time, Dai Tian had been raising him freely in a corner of a minor world. Raising freely meant simply tossing his family into the place with the densest spiritual energy, providing them with good food and drink daily. But this kid instead, even without anyone teaching him, his cultivation rose just from breathing. At only 3 years old, he was already at Kai refining layer 3. How could those avatars who had toiled for decades and still lingered at Kai refining bear the shame? Truly a fast breeder, Dai Tian watched Lin Fan in the light projection, his fingertips tapping lightly on the throne's armrest. The plowing in the demon realm has gone deep enough. It's time to switch to new soil and sow different seeds. Chapter 31, 5,000 Transformations into Divinity. Emerging from the mountain shakes the heavenly court. At this moment, the minor world resembled a gaudy nouveau riches warehouse. In the air, filled with intoxicating, high-concentration spiritual energy. It was the stench of copper from millions of demon stones, piled together, naturally exuding. Dai Tian sat on the throne, toying with the ancient jade pendant he had swiped from Yi Yu, feeling so good he wanted to hum a tune. Boss, take it easy. The little demon girl floated over, holding a massive abacus in her hands. Though everyone used system data streams now, she still loved this kind of click-clack ritual. This hall, converted into system universal energy points, is enough to multiply our foundation several times over. The little demon girl's eyes curved into crescent moons, with a suspicious glint of drool at the corner of her mouth. What, are we going to shrink it all down directly? Dai Tian tapped his fingers lightly on the armrest, his gaze sweeping over the neatly arranged formation of avatars below. Earlier, to stir up trouble in the demon realm, resources were all tilted toward Changlu. Now that we've thoroughly offended the demon emperor there, we can only lie low for a short time. The focus needs to shift toward the human side. After all, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, especially when that basket just got kicked by you. Only Dar and the others as avatars is still too shabby. Dai Tian waved his hand grandly. Give me 5,000 early-stage divinity transformation avatars. The little demon girl nearly dropped her abacus. She widened her eyes. 5,000. Boss, have you lost your mind? This would drain most of the loot. We just grabbed. Are we not going to live anymore? Money is a bastard. Spend it, then earn more. Dai Tian's tone was calm, as if he weren't tossing out astronomical resources, but a few cabbages. Only by turning resources into combat power can we truly secure them. Stop the nonsense. Execute. All right, you're the boss. You call the shots. The little demon girl said no more, her small hands dancing swiftly in the void. System energy conversion initiated. Target 5,000. Perfect foundation establishment avatars, synchronized realm. Divinity transformation initial stage. Begin infusion. The sky over the heavenly court minor world suddenly changed color. Mountains of demon stones and spirit stones crumbled and disintegrated before their eyes, turning into a torrent of multicolored energy. Like a galaxy cascading down, it poured madly into the clone formation below. 5,000 clones, long prepared and ready, all sat cross-legged at once. Their bodies blazed with blinding light. No bottlenecks, no heart demons, no need for enlightenment. As long as the money was enough. The system was simply unreasonable like that, in less than the time it takes an incense stick to burn. The first fierce aura shot into the sky, followed by the second, then the third, and finally, 5,000 nascent soul-level pressures converged, making the spatial barriers of this small world groan and creak under the unbearable 5,000 nascent soul cultivators. What did that even mean? Out in the outside world, in the southern domain, a sect with a single nascent soul elder, could dominate an entire region. But now, Dai Tian held a full 5,000 old ancestors in his hands. All right, enough posturing. Stop showing off. Everyone move out. Earth Heaven stood up. His gaze turned sharp, and he began issuing orders. These 5,000 split into two groups. First group, 4,000. Dai Tian looked at the formation on the left. I want you to disperse and enter the 108 main cities of the southern domain, and every major cultivation hub and prosperous town. Your only mission, make money and establish the Heavenly Court Trade Association. Set up branches, contract halls and appraisal halls. Don't hide or hold back, monopolize the market for me. Since I have clones that can refine pills and artifacts day and night without rest, then I'll crush costs to the absolute limit. I want every other trade association in the southern domain to either submit or go bankrupt, control the flow of pills and artifacts, and you've got the cultivation world by the throat. This is far more brilliant than mere fighting and killing. The 4,000 nascent soul clones roared in unison, their voices shaking the clouds. Then they turned into countless streaks of light, like dandelion seeds, scattering across the vast lands of the southern domain. Dai Tian turned to look at the remaining 1,000 nascent soul clones, and Lin Yi, who stood at the very front. Lin Yi's aura had grown increasingly steady. Dressed in plain green robes, he looked like nothing more than a gentle, refined scholar. Lin Yi, take the 1,000 men to the 10,000 mountains. Dai Tian pointed at the map. At the red-marked danger zone. The demon tribes are savage, but they have plenty of natural treasures, and they are desperately short of alchemists and artifact refiners. This is a massive blue ocean market. Go talk to those demon emperors with plenty of sincerity. At this, Dai Tian paused and flashed a grin of white teeth. If they don't want to be reasonable, then let these 1,000 brothers teach them what it means to win people over with virtue. Lin Yi pushed up his non-existent glasses and smiled, understood. We're going to deliver warmth, and by the way, monopolize their imports and exports. A flash of dreamlike light, and Lin Yi vanished with the 1,000 nascent soul clones. After arranging all this, the once crowded square suddenly felt much emptier. 15,000 clones remained. Everyone else enter supercomputing mode. Dai Tian sat down cross-legged, grind the heaven-earth art to death. Practice the void step technique. And don't slack on formations and artifacts either. Those are our core skills. Oh, right, where's that little brat? Dai Tian suddenly remembered something. You mean Lin Fan? The little demoness pointed at a small peak rich in spiritual energy. In the corner of the small world. He's playing in the mud over there. Dai Tian swept his divine sense over and couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Playing in the mud. That kid, he's building a formation town with spirit soil. He's only 3 years old. No one ever taught him formations. He's doing it purely on instinct and talent. He found arranging the mud like this comfortable. And without any guidance, he instinctively set up a simple forest-dwelling formation. Is this what it means to be a child of fate? Truly, comparing people drives one to death. And comparing goods makes one want to throw them away. Can't let him keep wasting his talent like this. One day, a figure flickered and appeared on the small peak. Lin Fan, wearing split-crotch pants, was bent over, focusing intently on placing a shiny, glittering stone at the formation's eye of the mud town. Suddenly, he felt a shadow over his head. Looking up, he saw a face, smiling like a wolf in grandmother's clothing. Master Lin Fan sniffled, calling out in a childish voice. Good child, Dai Tian said, lovingly patting his head. Zio Fan, do you want to learn how to fight? Oh, no, I want to learn immortal arts. To fly through the skies and burrow into the earth like Uncle Master. To be all-powerful. Lin Fan's eyes lit up. He tossed the mud aside and said, I want to fly high. Good ambition, Dai Tian snapped his fingers. Swish, swish, swish. Instantly, hundreds of clones appeared around them, each holding books like Asterisk, the Great Compendium of Cultivation Basics Asterisk. Asterisk detailed explanation of human meridians Asterisk. Asterisk 5 years of Kai refining, 3 years of foundation establishment Asterisk. And Asterisk 100 postures for formation beginners Asterisk. These hundreds of clones formed a circle, looking down at Lin Fan, who was only knee-high, with kind smiles on their faces. Lin Fan's face turned pale. He instinctively shrank back. From today onward, Dai Tian said, pointing at the clones, these hundreds of uncles will be your private tutors. Since you're a child of fate, you need to have the bearing of one, while others are still memorizing the Asterisk 3-character classic Asterisk. We'll start memorizing the Asterisk Taoist canon Asterisk. Don't worry, the uncles will be very gentle. Asan, teach him to read first, if he can't recognize 1,000 characters in a day. No milk for dinner. Ada, prepare his medicinal bath. Use 1/10 of an adult's dosage. As long as it doesn't kill him from pain, it's fine. This kid has a strong constitution. He can take it. The rest of you take turns lecturing him on the Tao. 24 hours a day on a loop. Even while he sleeps, keep talking. This is called subconscious teaching. Although Lin Fan couldn't understand most of it, his sharp instincts told him that the good times were over. Waya, I want my mother. A piercing cry echoed across the small peak. Dai Tian turned a deaf ear, spun around and walked away, his back looking especially cold and ruthless. Only the hundreds of clones crept closer with sinister smiles toward the trembling little Lin Fan. In the southern domain's 10,000 mountains, this was the territory of the demon race. Ancient trees towered to the sky, and miasmic vapors filled the air. Few human cultivators dared to set foot in the core region. Today, the Black Tiger Demon Emperor was in a foul mood, because a human had trespassed into his domain. Where did this human insect come from, daring to invade this emperor's territory? Good. The Black Tiger Demon Emperor manifested his true form, Tenjiang Tall, his demonic aura rolling like waves. The pressure of his void, refining cultivation swept across the area, making the surrounding forests rustle loudly. Across from him, Lin Yi stood with his hands behind his back, his robes fluttering in the wind, facing the Demon Emperor's fury. He didn't even blink. Brother Black Tiger, no need to be so angry, Lin Yi said with a professional smile on his face. I am the Vice President of the Heavenly Court Trade Association. I've come today to discuss a major business deal with your esteemed clan. Business, the Black Tiger Demon Emperor sneered, his massive tiger eyes filled with greed. Eating you. And taking your storage pouch, that's my kind of business. With a roar, a giant tiger claw. Before his words faded, Lin Yi shook his head. This is what they call refusing a toast, only to drink a forfeit. He didn't make a move, but simply snapped his fingers lightly. Little ones, come out and show yourselves. With a hum, the void behind Lin Yi suddenly twisted. Come out and show yourself. The void behind Wang Lingyi suddenly twisted. Exactly 1,000 figures materialized without warning, appearing out of thin air. All were uniformly at the divine transformation stage. The combined pressure of 1,000 divine transformation cultivators formed a terrifying storm, instantly dispersing the Black Tiger Demon Emperor's demonic aura, and even forcing his massive body back hundreds of zhang. The Black Tiger Demon Emperor, who had been about to attack, froze mid-motion, his raised tiger claw, unable to strike, unable to withdraw, hovering awkwardly in the air. His lantern-like tiger eyes bulged wide as he stared at the dense crowd of human cultivators whose auras merged into one. His mind buzzing, 1,000 divine transformation cultivators. Was humanity about to declare all-out war on the demon race? Even if he was a void, refining demon emperor, facing a siege of 1,000 reckless divine transformation cultivators, he would be lucky to escape with his life, let alone without injury. The Black Tiger Demon Emperor's demonic aura rapidly receded, and his enormous body shrank quickly, taking the form of a sturdy, middle-aged, dark-skinned man. He rubbed his hands together, and the ferocious expression on his face instantly transformed into a simple, honest smile. His speed of changing expressions was astonishing. Well, so you're friends from the Heavenly Court Trading Company. That just now was this Emperor's unique welcome ceremony. I didn't scare you all, did I? Talking business is great. This Emperor loves doing business the most. Come. Please enter. Bring out this Emperor's finest treasures. Lin Yi watched this scene, the smile on his lips growing even deeper. Black Tiger Brother is indeed a man of true character. Then let's make a small breakthrough first. Then let's have a good talk about the future purchase of all spiritual herbs in this mountain range, and the exclusive distribution rights for our pills. At the same time, in various prosperous cities across the southern domain, overnight, magnificent buildings named the Heavenly Court Pill Pavilion and the Heavenly Court Artifact Pavilion rose from the ground. On opening day, all pills and artifacts were sold at a 50% discount, and every single one was of supreme quality. A commercial storm, sweeping across the entire southern domain's cultivation world, had thus begun. Chapter 32, Overwhelming Strike. This is called business competition. The massive fortune pit of the Azure Cloud sect in Heavenly Star City, spanning 10,000 li. Today, in the most prosperous central district of Heavenly Star City, directly opposite the 10,000 Treasures Pavilion, stood a 9-story magnificent building that was originally an inn, but had now been completely transformed. The huge golden signboard reading Heavenly Court Pill Pavilion dazzled people's eyes under the sunlight. 2 long queues at the entrance stretched 3 streets away, a scene even more chaotic than the mortal New Year's market. Don't rush. If you keep pushing, I won't be polite. Ouch. Who stepped on my heel? Move it up front. I'm just buying 2 bottles of rejuvenation pills. What's the holdup? A rogue cultivator in a patched Taoist robe squeezed out of the crowd, holding 2 white jade bottles in his hands, his face flushed with excitement, looking like he had just gotten married. They're all supreme grade, almost no impurities at all, and only 2 spirit stones per pill. The 10,000 Treasures Pavilion sells them for 10, and those are low grade. This Heavenly Court Pill Pavilion is practically a living bodhisattva. With that shout, the already restless crowd grew even more agitated. Inside the branch of the 10,000 Treasures Pavilion across the street, shopkeeper Wang Fugui stood by the second-floor window, watching the booming business across the way, his face as dark as a pot bottom. The string of supreme-grade forest jade beads he had been polishing for 10 years snapped with a crack as he crushed them to powder. Have you found out yet? What's their background? Wang Fugui ground his teeth. The junior assistant behind him was drenched in cold sweat, his voice trembling. Shopkeeper, we can't trace any origin at all. It's as if they appeared out of thin air. The most terrifying thing is their supply source. Our people disguised themselves as rogue cultivators and made over a dozen consecutive purchases. Every single time, they were instantly restocked. Those pills seem inexhaustible, as if they materialize directly from the void. Breaking the rules. At this moment of malicious competition, Wang Fugui slapped the curtain, crushing the price to such a low level. They don't want to make money, nor do they want others to survive. So they went to Elder Zhao of the Dan Alliance and said, "Someone is selling poison pills in Tianxin City, disrupting the market. Please come and uphold justice, venerable elder." Inside the Heavenly Court Pill Pavilion, there was no expected chaos. 12 counters lined up in a row. 12 clone shopkeepers in uniform wore identical standard smiles on their faces. Their movements were perfectly synchronized, collecting money, handing over goods and giving change. Next customer, no wasted words. Their efficiency was as precise as intricate mechanical puppets. In the back hole, lounged with his legs crossed, on a Grand Master's chair, holding an account book in hand. But in reality, he was using the system interface. To report to Dishan. "Boss, the stock here in Tianxin City is about to run out again. These cultivators act like they've never seen the world. They're even snatching up the leftover pills. Don't worry, batch 2 just came off the assembly line. I'll send it over to you right away." Dishan's lazy voice echoed in his mind, "Remember, we're not here to make money. We're here to seize the market. Whoever dares to cause trouble, handle them with Plan B." Understood just as he was saying this. A sudden commotion erupted at the entrance. "Make way, make way. Dan Alliance enforcement, stand aside, all irrelevant personnel." The oppressive aura of a perfected core formation expert brusquely pushed through the crowd, forcing a path open by sheer might. Wang Fugui, his face full of flattery, led in an elder clad in the ceremonial robe of the Dan Alliance. Stepping inside, the elder had hair as white as snow, his chin held high, his eyes brimming with arrogance. Dan Alliance Elder Zhao Wuji, a 4th-grade alchemy master, in the territory of Tianxin City. He was the undisputed tyrant of the pill world. "Who is the shopkeeper?" Zhao Wuji clasped his hands behind his back. His cold gaze swept across the hall by street report. "Someone here is selling substandard pills. Arming fellow cultivators, the Dan Alliance hereby seals this place. All pills must be surrendered and sealed immediately." The hall fell silent in an instant. The cultivators waiting in line dared not speak out in anger. The Dan Alliance had monopolized the pill trade for years. Their skill at framing others was truly masterful. Slowly set down the account book, stood up and straightened his robe. "Venerable elder, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't just say whatever you please. Our pills are all top grade, cheating neither the old nor the young." "Top grade?" Zhao Wuji let out a cold laugh. He casually grabbed a bottle of Kai-gathering pills from the counter, pulled out the stopper without even looking, and threw it straight to the ground. With a crack, the jade bottle shattered. Several round pills rolled out. The fragrance of pills filled the air. But the pill scent was pungent. It must be laced with spices to mask the smell. "And you dare call this garbage top grade? These are all waste pills." Zhao Wuji pointed at Nose men. "Smash this crooked shop. Take the man back for interrogation." Wang Fugui sneered from the side. "Did you hear that? Elder Zhao says it's poison pills. Then poison pills they are, boy. Next life, when you do business, keep your eyes open." Before he could finish, let out a sigh. The boss was right. There are always some old fossils who can't see the writing on the wall. Lifted his head. The professional smile on his face faded, replaced by a look that saw them as dead men. "Smash the shop." Snapped his fingers snap. The 12 clone shopkeepers standing behind the counters all stopped their movements at once. They raised their heads in unison. The earlier efficient aura vanished without a trace. Boom 12 auras were unleashed without restraint. Not core formation, not nascent soul. These were 12 genuine divine transformation stage pressures. A terrifying wave of energy exploded within the cramped shop. The counters remained unscathed. But Zhao Wuji, who had been so arrogant just moments ago, and Wang Fugui, like two toads slammed onto the ground by a fierce gale. They fell to their knees with a thud. The crisp sound of shattering kneecaps was clear and pleasant. Tribulation, transcendence. Zhao Wuji's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. His entire body trembled uncontrollably. That arrogance instantly turned into sheer terror. How is this possible? A clerk at a pill shop is all a tribulation transcendence old monster. A tribulation transcendence cultivators worthless these days. Even the top-tier sects couldn't possibly have 12 tribulation transcendence experts. Standing behind a counter, slowly walked up to Zhao Wuji, crouched down, picked up the dust-covered Juki pill from the ground. Blew on it, old man. This pill costs 2 spirit stones. You broke the bottle, so you'll have to pay for that too. That's 3 in total. Er's voice was soft, yet it struck Zhao Wuji's heart like a hammer. As for you calling it a waste pill, smiled and held the pill to Zhao Wuji's lips. Eat it. If it's a poison pill, I'll take responsibility if it kills you. If it's not, then you've just been slandering and defaming us. The Heavenly Court Merchant Association reserves the right to pursue you for defamation. Of course, we'll pursue it with our fists. Zhao Wuji didn't dare to eat it. His lips trembled. As senior, a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Not eating, Er's eyes turned cold. A clone beside him walked over, expertly pried open Zhao Wuji's jaw, and shoved the pill, along with the dust from the ground, straight into his mouth. Gulp, the pill entered his stomach, and the pure medicinal power instantly dissolved, without any impurities at all. Zhao Wuji felt so comfortable he almost moaned. But the comfort lasted only a moment, because the next second, he felt his neck, gripped by an iron-like hand. Lifted him up with one hand, like carrying a dead chicken. Go back and tell that so-called alliance leader of the Pill Alliance how the pill business was run before. You decided. From today on, the Heavenly Court Merchant Association decides. If you want to compete, bring down the prices and raise the quality. If you want to play dirty, pointed at the row of expressionless clones behind him. I've got a few thousand more brothers like these. They've got bad tempers. If they go to the Pill Alliance headquarters for tea, it won't be as polite as today. Get lost. He tossed him aside casually. Zhao Wuji and Wang Fugui, who had already wet his pants, turned into 2 parabolic arcs, flying straight out the door, and crashing heavily onto the signboard, the 10,000 Treasures Pavilion. Crack, the golden signboard of the 10,000 Treasures Pavilion broke in 2. The street fell into dead silence. After a moment, clapped his hands, put back on that gentle smile, and cupped his hands toward the stunned cultivators outside the door. A small interruption, sorry for startling you all. As an apology, today all pills in the store will be discounted by another 10%. For half an hour only. The crowd instantly erupted, who cared about some Pill Alliance elder. Everyone scrambled madly to push inside. Boss, big sale. Give me 10 bottles. I want that kind of top-tier waste pill that can poison someone to death. At the same time, deep within the 10,000 Great Mountains, the atmosphere in the cave dwelling of the Black Tiger Demon Emperor was somewhat tense. On a massive stone table, various spirit-light shimmering contracts were laid out. On the left sat Lingyi, still in that gentle, scholarly appearance. On the right sat the Black Tiger Demon Emperor in human form, now sweating profusely, staring at the contract scroll in his hand. Behind him stood 2 trembling little demon kings. Outside the cave, 1,000 tribulation transcendence clones were lined up in formation, doing calisthenics, shouting slogans that shook the heavens. Every time they stomped, the entire mountain peak trembled. This wasn't coming to negotiate business. This was clearly coming to demolish the place. That Vice President Lin Yi from Linyi. Black Tiger Yao Huang wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. His voice sounded a bit weak. Isn't this clause a bit too much? From now on, all spiritual herbs within our Tiger clan's territory can only be sold to you. And the price? What about the price? Linyi smiled, picked up his teacup, and took a sip. Although it's 20% lower than the market price, we're paying in full cash up front. No credit allowed. And in exchange, the transformation pills, an essence extraction liquid, provided by our Heavenly Court Merchant Guild, will be offered to your clan at an exclusive 20% discount. Lin Yi set down his teacup. His fingers lightly tapped the table. Brother Black Tiger, you should know. The Wolf clan next door is quite interested in this cooperation deal. If our 1,000 brothers go over to the Wolf clan for a little bonding, perhaps the Wolf Emperor might be more agreeable. Black Tiger Yao Huang's eyelid twitched. Going to bond with the Wolf clan, with those thugs outside. Wherever they go, that place faces a calamity of annihilation. If he lets these people cooperate with the Wolf clan, they'd wipe him out in no time. Sign it now. Black Tiger Yao Huang gritted his teeth, waved his hand grandly, and left a soul imprint on the imperial decree. We're practically brothers. From now on, the Tiger clan is the most loyal partner of the Heavenly Court Merchant Guild. Whoever dares to block our business, this emperor will be the first to bite them to death. Lin Yi nodded in satisfaction and put away the imperial decree. That's more like it. When doing business, the key is harmony brings wealth. He stood up and walked to the cave entrance, looking at the group outside, those clones training with fiery enthusiasm. Oh, Brother Black Tiger, I need one more favor. Speak, please. Help me pass a message to the other demon emperors of the 10,000 mountains. Lin Yi adjusted, his non-existent glasses, his smile kind. The Heavenly Court Merchant Guild plans to open branches in all demon tribes. I hope everyone can be as reasonable as Brother Flying Tiger. If they are unwilling, Lin Yi pointed to the 1,000-man formation outside the cave, moving in perfect unison with overwhelming momentum, and added with a kind smile, our Heavenly Court Merchant Guild just happens to have a professional negotiation team. If any demon emperor can't see reason, we can arrange a home visit to help them think clearly. Day 1 of the Heavenly Court's small incident. Watching the numbers on the system panel jump wildly. His mood was extremely comfortable. This is the power of monopoly. This is the joy of capital. Boss, there's movement from Lin Fan. The little demon girl suddenly popped her head out. With a strange expression. What trick is that kid pulling now? Scene shift. On a small mountain peak. Lin Fan, only 3 years old, sat cross-legged on a large rock with 2 dark circles under his eyes, surrounded by a circle of clone teachers, who were taking turns chanting scriptures at him. But his state was very unusual. The spiritual energy around him formed a funnel-shaped vortex, frantically pouring into his tiny body. Above his head, a faint golden Dharma image vaguely appeared, though its face was unclear. That aura actually triggered a resonance with the heavenly Dao. Kai refinement, 10th layer. He's about to establish a foundation. Dai Tian's mouth twitched. This is just too unreasonable. It's only been a few days. Being force-fed knowledge 24/7 by a group of clones. Not only did he not go crazy, but he even comprehended the Dao. Boss, this isn't an ordinary foundation establishment. The little demon girl exclaimed, detecting a special energy fluctuation. It's the heavenly Dao mainframe. He's reshaping the ancient heavenly Dao foundation. He is reconstructing the foundation of the ancient heavenly Dao. Dai Tian stroked his chin. A glint of gold flashed in his eyes. Interesting. Since you're my disciple now, I'll give you another push. Dai Tian waved his hand grandly. I recall there's a bottle in the warehouse. That 10,000-year Earth Core milk we looted from the demon realm last time. Bring it here and pour it down his throat. Then drop 100 giant spirit arrays on him. Crush the spiritual energy into him. You need to have the bearing of one. Let's build the strongest foundation for this brat. The fatter he grows, the firmer his roots. Only then can this banner be raised higher in the future. And the more storms it will naturally weather. All this is your master's heartfelt effort. In the heavenly court's lesser world, an unprecedented earthquake was unfolding. On that unremarkable little peak, amid all the formations, that giant spirit array patched together with mud, was now blinding everyone's eyes. The lines that once looked like a child's piss stains were now radiating an ancient, desolate and noble golden radiance. At the epicenter, 3-year-old Lin Fan hung suspended in midair. After that bottle of 10,000-year Earth Core milk was forced down his throat, the kid's body swelled and deflated like an inflated ball. One moment it puffed up, the next it shriveled. If he were an ordinary person, he would have long since exploded and died under that violent energy. But this kid gritted his teeth and didn't utter a single groan. Only his large, clear black and white eyes shone with a stubborn defiance. Heavenly Dao assistance. No, this is a ticket-selling spectacle. Carefree First Day stood in the distance, even holding a handful of melon seeds, cracking them with a crunch-crunch, showing no tension befitting a master. Boss, are you sure you won't break him? The little demon girl watched, her heart pounding. That's 10,000-year Earth Core milk. A divine artifact user would need 3 years in seclusion to digest a single sip. You poured a whole bottle into him. He's the child of fate. He won't die. Dai Tian spat out a melon seed shell, but his eyes stayed fixed on that mud array. And this kid's randomly set up formation has now triggered something. Look at its power. This mud array might be the ancient lost. Thick earth return to origin formation. It can convert violent energy into foundation. The moment the words fell, suddenly a hum rang out. A golden pillar of light burst without warning from Lin Fan's crown, shooting straight into the sky. The lesser world's sturdy spatial barrier was as fragile as paper before this light pillar, pierced clean through. Then a vast, indifferent, lofty will descended. The spiritual energy of the entire lesser world froze instantly. Every clone felt a tightness in their chest, as if watched by some higher dimensional existence. Heavenly Dao suppression. Dai Tian squinted, dusted the crumbs off his hands. Looks like this lesser world can't hide him anymore. The main heavenly tribulation is coming, and it's the highest grade. In the sky, the once clear clouds instantly turned ink black. Purple lightning churned within the clouds. That wasn't ordinary lightning. It was the purple firmament divine thunder, containing the laws of destruction. If he crossed the tribulation in the lesser world, this newly renovated home would probably be half destroyed. Go, Pikachu. Without hesitation, Dai Tian lifted his foot and kicked Lin Fan, who was suspended in midair, straight out. Spatial ripples spread. 3-year-old Lin Fan, along with that sky-piercing golden light, was booted out of the lesser world by Dai Tian and thrown onto the desolate wilderness at the edge of the southern domain's 10,000 mountains. At the edge of the southern domain's 10,000 mountains, the once clear sky was now like spilled ink. The heavens for 1,000 lie pitch black, unable to see one's hand. Rumbling, muffled thunder seemed to explode in everyone's heart. Within 10,000 lie, whether ancient monsters in seclusion or cultivators locked in battle, all looked up in shock. What is this? Which great power is crossing the tribulation? This aura is pure to the extreme, carrying the vitality of a newborn. Someone is establishing their foundation. But what foundation establishment could summon the purple firmament divine lightning? Heavenly Dao Foundation Establishment, the legendary foundation of the Heavenly Dao. At this moment, the entire continent erupted. Countless streaks of light shot up from the major sects. They rushed madly toward the center of the tribulation clouds. The Azure Cloud sect, the Blood Blade sect, the Pill Raffiner sect factions that usually couldn't stand each other, now raced at full speed in perfect, unspoken agreement. Heavenly Dao Foundation Establishment. As long as this child doesn't die young, he is destined to become an immortal in the future. Whoever snatches him for their sect will secure 10,000 years of prosperity. On the desolate plain, Lin Fan, who had just been kicked out, sat on the ground with a dazed expression. Above his head hung oppressive black clouds. Beneath him lay cold, wild grass. Master, he tested, calling out softly. No one answered him. Only the purple lightning dragon, brewing above for so long, with an aura of utter destruction, roared as it charged down. Wuxia, I want to go home. Lin Fan cried out in terror, instinctively raising his chubby little hands to block, just as the lightning dragon was about to swallow that tiny figure. Stop crying. How embarrassing. A calm voice sounded behind him. Then a figure in blue robes materialized out of thin air. One hand in his pocket, the other gently lifting upward. HMPH, the purple firmament divine lightning, enough to kill a core formation cultivator, was actually held midair by that pale palm. Then his 5 fingers clenched. The lightning dragon let out a mournful cry and was crushed into countless purple specks of light. Lin Fan, with a snot bubble hanging from his nose, stared blankly at this suddenly appearing master. It was Lin Yi. At this moment, Lin Yi stood with 1,000 incarnations behind him, who had just finished their business with the Black Tiger Demon Emperor. These 1,000 people did not suppress their auras, but released them without reservation. 1,000 terrifying pressures merged into one, like an iron wall connecting heaven and earth, firmly shielding this desolate plain behind them. In the distance, the first wave of cultivators had arrived. It was a core formation elder from the Azure Cloud sect, leading over a dozen foundation establishment disciples. The old man stared at Lin Fan beneath the tribulation clouds, his eyes gleaming green. Heaven blesses the Azure Cloud sect. This child is fated with me. You in the blue robes, step aside quickly. This child, this old man is taking him away. Lin Yi adjusted his nose bridge, not even glancing at the old man. He simply waved at the incarnations behind him. Since so many spectators have come, it wouldn't be right not to charge some admission. Pass the order, with the tribulation clouds as the center. 100 miles around became the heavenly court viewing zone. Those who want to watch the Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment pay the entry fee. Those who don't want to pay but still try to force their way in, Lin Yi paused. revealing that trademark kind smile. Then send them to see the real heavenly court. The Azure Cloud sect elder, seeing Lin Yi ignore him, flew into a rage. Toast rejected, drink the penalty. This old man is at core formation mid-stage. I think you're slap. A slap echoed across the plain. Before the core formation elder could finish his words, his entire body spun like a top, twirling dozens of times in the air, then slammed face first into the ground, not moving for a long time. A 2-meter-tall incarnation, rippling with bulging muscles, withdrew his palm, and said gruffly, "Too much useless talk. Did you buy a ticket?" The entire scene fell dead silent. The powerful figures from the major sects arriving behind slammed on the brakes midair, each staring in shock and uncertainty at the scene. A single slap sent a core formation mid-stage cultivator flying. This seemingly ordinary burly man was at least nascent soul, or even divine transformation. As more and more cultivators arrived, they finally saw clearly, the human wall blocking the tribulation clouds. Finally, a fellow divine transformation cultivator noticed. 1,000 people, all at divine transformation stage. Those sect masters and ancestors, who had come roaring in, ready to snatch the child. At this moment, he only felt a chill run down his spine, shoot from the soles of their feet straight to their crowns. The entire southern domain combined didn't have this many. Transform what? Which film Holy Land did they just emerge from? Ling Yi slowly rose into the air. His voice not loud, yet his voice clearly spread across 100 miles of the heavenly court. Business in progress idlers, stop here. Considering you've all traveled from afar, I, the guild leader, have specially approved open viewing seats. Regular seats, 1,000 spirit snacks standing only. VIP seats, 10,000 spirit snacks includes seeding and sunflower seeds. Supreme seats, 100,000. Allows close-range perception of the heavenly Dao's rhythm. After speaking, Ling Yi pointed behind him, at Lin Fan, who was being struck by lightning and howling in pain, yet whose aura was steadily climbing. This once in 10,000 years, heavenly Dao Foundation establishment. Every glance is a treasure. Grasp a sliver of its law, and your bottlenecks will loosen. Opportunity knocks but once, lost never to return. Tickets are now on sale. The scene fell into an awkward silence. A group of formidable experts, usually revered and worshipped, were today being treated as spectators at a monkey show, and they had to buy tickets. Arrogant, a supreme elder of the Blood Saber sect could no longer hold back. The blood saber in his hand hummed. Even if you outnumber us, this southern domain isn't your sole domain. Everyone attack together. I refuse to believe they'd dare kill us all. Putchai, a flash of finger light streaked past. That nascent soul cultivator from the Blood Saber sect, an early-stage supreme elder, now had a bloody hole in his brow. His corpse fell straight down. The one who struck was none other than Lin Yi. He hadn't even moved a finger, as if the death was just that of a fly. Anyone else trying to skip the ticket? Lin Yi still smiled, gentle and refined. This time no one spoke. Everyone trembled. That was an instant kill. A fellow nascent soul, killed in a single blow. I'll buy a ticket. A quick-witted rogue cultivator tremblingly pulled out a storage pouch. I want a supreme seat. I want to comprehend up close. Good eye. Ling Yi waved, and a clone immediately stepped forward to collect the payment. Then, with utmost respect, he led the rogue cultivator through the human wall to a large rock, 500 meters from Lin Fan. He even thoughtfully handed over a handful of sunflower seeds, with someone taking the lead. The remaining people's mental defenses completely crumbled. This was Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment, a legendary opportunity, and these ruthless stars were clearly not to be trifled with, spending money to avoid disaster and snag some fortune. Not a loss. I'll take a VIP seat too. Don't rush, I also want a supreme seat. The originally tense battle for recruits suddenly shifted tone. In an instant, it became a massive fan meet. Within a minor incident, Yi Tian looked at the system panel, where temporary income notifications were frantically jumping. He took a satisfied sip of tea. See, this is the power of IP. That kid Lin Fan will be our heavenly court's signature mascot from now on. Today's wave not only spread our fame, but also brought in a round of funds. Little demoness, remember to edit the clip of Ling Yi instantly, killing that nascent soul cultivator. Make it into a promotional video. Play it on loop. on the big screens in every city. I've already thought of the tagline, Heavenly Court Security Professional and Reliable. Anyone who dares cause trouble. This is their fate. Meanwhile, at the center of the wasteland, Lin Fan had gone numb. He cried while being struck by lightning, all while being watched by thousands of eyes, like a monkey on display. But what he didn't notice was that with each divine thunderbolt entering his body, his meridians were undergoing earth-shattering changes. The golden foundation grew increasingly solid, faintly behind him, condensing into a blurry imperial phantom. That phantom bore a 7-part resemblance to the heavenly emperor. This was a sign of cultivating the heaven and earth art. The final tribulation lightning descended. The clouds parted and the mist cleared. A 7-colored auspicious light enveloped Lin Fan. He stopped crying. His body floated in midair. At this moment, it radiated an aura of majesty that made one want to prostrate in worship. Among the honored cultivators watching the breakthrough, many felt an epiphany on the spot. Some even broke through directly where they stood. Worth the 100,000 spirit stones. So worth it, I understand now. So this is the Dao. Lin Yi watched this scene, a slight smile curling at the corner of his mouth. He turned and gave a slight bow to everyone. Thank you all for your support. Also, I announce one thing. From today onward, the Heavenly Court officially establishes itself in the southern domain. Whether it's elixirs or artifacts, or the training of genius disciples like this, we accept all commissions, as long as the payment is sufficient. Even perfect foundation establishment can be mass-produced. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire venue erupted in uproar. Mass-produced perfect foundation establishment. What exactly is this Heavenly Court? Are they insane? Whether they are or not, after this night, the name Heavenly Court will become a mountain looming over every power in the southern domain. And that Lin Fan, still floating in midair with a runny nose, had inexplicably become the nightmare of the southern domain's younger generation, and the coveted treasure of all the old monsters. All right, wrap it up. Lin Yi waved his hand, swept up Lin Fan and his 1,000 clones, tore through the void before everyone's eyes, and departed with style, leaving behind only a pile of melon seed shells and a group of southern domain big shots still in shock. In the core hall of the Heavenly Court's small world, Dai Tian stared at the system panel, at that dizzyingly long string of numbers, his mood as calm as a retired old cotter. That Heavenly Dao projection screening last night had earned over 50 million spirit stones in ticket sales alone. That didn't even count the red envelopes, secretly slipped to the clones guarding the venue, just to grab front row seats. This money comes faster than robbing a vault, he said, lifting his teacup and gently blowing on the foam. Below the main hall, only 3 years old, Lin Fan, who had just succeeded in foundation establishment, was lying on the ground. His originally fine little belly band was now covered in mud and scorch marks, the aftermath of being struck by lightning yesterday. Master, I'm hungry, Lin Fan looked up. His once lively big eyes, now filled only with deep exhaustion, and a hint of doubt about this world. Dai Tian glanced at him, casually tossed over a top-grade foundation pill. Eat up. When you're full, go squat in the mud pit again. Just now, Ada said your foundation is solid, but your physical body isn't tough enough yet. These next few days, focus on getting beaten up. Lin Fan stuffed the pill into his mouth and crunched it loudly, tears swirling in his eyes but not daring to fall. Though young, he understood. Those thousands of weird uncles who tried to snatch him yesterday had nearly been slapped to death by his own masters. Following a master like this was hard but safe. Boss Ling Yi pushed open the door, holding a jade slip in hand. His gentle, refined smile remained unchanged. The Southern Domain Alchemy Alliance has made a move. Dai Tian didn't even raise an eyebrow. That Zhao Wuji who was thrown out by Ayer. Zhao Wuji went back and exaggerated things. Now, Alliance leader Gu He has personally ordered the issuance of the Southern Domain Wind and Sand Decree. Ling Yi handed over the jade slip, a hint of amusement in his tone. They claim that the Heavenly Court's Alchemy Pavilion sells demonic pills. They've ordered the entire Southern Domain that no sect or clan may purchase our pills. Anyone who disobeys will have their pill supply permanently cut off by the Alliance and be blacklisted. Dai Tian laughed, a mocking smile curling at his lips. This move by the Alchemy Alliance is no different from a back alley quack who can only refine low-grade pills. shouting for all cultivators to boycott a Dao alchemy grandmaster who can produce top-grade elixirs on the grounds that the grandmaster's pills are too cheap. It must be a shoddy poison pill. Could it be that Gu he has refined too many pills and fried his own brain into dregs? Dai Tian set down his teacup, his fingers lightly tapping the armrest. What's our current market share in Naniyu? How much do we hold? Low-end market, 90%. High-end market, 60%. Ling Yi reported the numbers precisely. The remaining share is mostly held by those old stubborn sects still clinging to the alchemy alliance out of obligation. Then don't let them keep it. Article 34, Capital Acquisition. The physical kind. Dai Tian stood up and stretched, the crackling of his joints echoing through the hall. Since they want to play at blockades, then we'll teach them what capital acquisition really means. Dai Tian looked at Lin Yi. Take 1,000 nascent soul cultivators to the Alchemy Alliance headquarters and kill them. Lin Yi asked. Vulgar. Dai Tian straightened his collar. We're legitimate businessmen. Take money and buy out the Alchemy Alliance. People, land, and all. And that so-called bone box, buy it too. If they refuse to sell. Dai Tian smiled, revealing a mouthful of stark white teeth. Then dispose of those who won't sell. The rest will naturally be willing. The Alchemy Alliance headquarters sat on Xianxia mountain in the heart of Naniyu. Shrouded in mist year-round, the air thick with the scent of herbs. It was a sacred place in every alchemist's heart. On ordinary days, only the highest powers came and went. Even a nascent soul elder had to tread respectfully and bow to the ground upon arrival. But today, inside the Alchemy Alliance's grand hall, the atmosphere was so heavy it could drip water. Alliance leader Gu, he sat in the main seat, his face dark as thunder. He was a gaunt old man, his triangular eyes sharp and ruthless. Below sat 12 elders, including Zhao Wuji, whose leg had been broken, and who now sat in a wheelchair. Alliance leader, the heavenly court goes too far. Zhao Wuji slapped the wheelchair armrest. Spittle flying, their low price dumping, is outright market disruption. If we don't drive them out of Naniyu, our Alchemy Alliance will be drinking the northwest wind. Yes, Alliance leader. In the past 2 days, the revenue from my pill shops has dropped by 80%. Another elder chimed in, his face twisted in pain. Those rogue cultivators are nothing but cheap bones. Give them a little discount and they swarm, ignoring the Alchemy Alliance's ban entirely. Guhi's face darkened further. He gave a cold snort. What's the rush? Rogue cultivators are just small fry. The real prize is the major sects. I've already sent letters to all the major sects. Their annual demand for pills is enormous. Besides us, who can supply them? That heavenly court is just a flash in the pan. Once their stock runs out, we'll immediately raise pill prices by 10%. Gu, he was confident. Alchemy is a craft. It requires countless alchemists, toiling day and night. He didn't believe that so-called heavenly court could conjure up so many pills out of thin air. HMPH. Just then, a roar that seemed to tear the soul itself came from outside. The entire mountain peak, housing the Alchemy Alliance headquarters, shook violently. The protective barrier flickered wildly. Inside the hall, countless forbidden runes were instantly triggered, yet they still couldn't block that terrifying shockwave. The hall trembled, and the crystal chandeliers shattered with a bang. How dare you? A green light flashed in Gui's eyes. Without moving, the vast spiritual power of a half-step incarnation burst forth, forcing the crumbling hall to stabilize. Before he could release his divine sense, a voice, warm as jade, yet amplified by spiritual power, resonated across 100 miles. Heavenly Court Commerce, Agent 01, comes to pay respects to Alliance leader Guhi, and to discuss acquisition matters. Guhi's face changed, a flicker of movement, and he shot out of the main hall, with Elder Zhang and the others following close behind. The moment they stepped outside, everyone seemed frozen in place, as if struck by a paralysis spell. They stood rooted to the spot. Above Xianxia mountain, the sky was a dense, oppressive mass. It wasn't storm clouds. It was people. 1,000 cultivators, all in identical cyan uniforms, floated in perfect formation in the air. They weren't deliberately releasing their pressure, but with 1,000 nascent soul cultivators gathered together. The life force field naturally emanating from them had already begun to warp the surrounding space. The sunlight was blocked out. Xianxia mountain was plunged into shadow. Lin Yi stood at the very front of the formation. In his hand, holding a freshly printed acquisition contract. On his face was that kind of flawless professional smile that left no room for criticism. Why you? Yuguhi's throat was dry and raspy. That was a physiological fear. As a cultivator at the great perfection of the nascent soul stage, half a step into the nascent soul realm, he was considered a notable figure in the southern domain. But in his entire life, he had never seen so many nascent soul cultivators. Hadn't they basically kidnapped every nascent soul cultivator in the entire cultivation world? Isn't that right? Guhi Alliance Leader, a pleasure to meet you. Lin Yi stepped through the air, descending step by step. Each step seemed to land on the heartbeat of everyone present. He landed 3 meters in front of Guhi and waved the contract in his hand. To make a long story short, our chairman thinks your Guhi Alliance has a decent location, and this few thousand-year brand reputation is barely passable, so we plan to acquire it outright. Name your price. Guhi stared intently at Lin Yi, his chest heaving violently. Insult, this was a blatant insult, bringing 1,000 thugs to block the door, and calling this a negotiation for acquisition. This was robbery. Outrageous. From behind Guhi, an elder with a fiery temper couldn't hold back. He summoned a crimson alchemy furnace. This is the sacred ground of the Alchemy Alliance. We have the mountain protecting formation. PFFT, the sound cut off abruptly. Without any warning, that elder's head exploded like a ripe watermelon. In the sky, a clone slowly withdrew its finger, and even wiped it disdainfully on its clothes. Everyone was frozen in place, their breathing even becoming lighter. Zhao Wuji curled up in his wheelchair, wishing he could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. He was all too familiar with this scene. These people never wasted words before killing. Lin Yi adjusted his nose bridge, his smile unchanged, as if what had just exploded was just a balloon. Sorry, my subordinates aren't very polite, but that elder just now was speaking too loudly. Scared me. That counts as a work injury. It'll be deducted from the acquisition payment later. Guhi's whole body trembled. That was from anger, and also from fear. He glanced at the headless corpse on the ground, then looked up at the 1,000 pairs of cold eyes in the sky. Finally, his gaze landed on Lin Yi's smiling face. He understood one thing. If he didn't sign these papers today, the Alchemy Alliance would become just a line in history books tomorrow. What do you people really want? Guhi's voice was hoarse, as if he had aged decades. I told you an acquisition. Lin Yi handed over the contract. The Alchemy Alliance is dissolved. It will be merged into the Heavenly Court Commerce Association and restructured as the Heavenly Court Pharmaceutical Factory. You will still be the person in charge, but only responsible for production and management. All formulas, inventory, and channels will belong to the Heavenly Court. As compensation, he snapped his fingers. Behind him, 2 clones walked out, carrying a huge chest and opening the lid. The dazzling spiritual light nearly blinded everyone's eyes. Inside were neatly stacked top-grade spirit stones, along with several bottles of pills that emitted a soul-shaking aura of power. This is the down payment. Lin Yi pointed at those pills. Nascent soul pills, top grade. Enough to let you break through that barrier and step fully into the nascent soul realm. Guhi's breathing instantly became rapid. He was stuck at the perfect foundation establishment stage for 100 years. Reinforcements were about to arrive. He dreamed of breaking through day and night. In one hand, a big stick. In the other, a carrot. And this big stick was too thick. This carrot looked too much like me. Guhi trembled as he took the contract. Alliance leader, you can't sign it. This is our ancestral legacy. An old fossil beside him was still there. Guhi suddenly turned his head. He slapped the old fossil across the face, sending him flying a dozen meters away. Shut up. I am doing this to save the lives of the Alchemy Alliance disciples. It is for the future of the Nan-Yu alchemy path. His righteous roar seemed to drain all his spirit and energy. He closed his eyes in defeat. When he opened them again, all unwillingness and anger were buried deep in his heart. Only a dead calm remained. He stared fixedly at Lin Yi. His voice hoarse, he asked if I sign. The entire Alchemy Alliance Foundation belongs to you. Is the nascent soul pill real? Lin Yi smiled. He did not answer directly. A wise man submits to circumstances. Factory Director Gu, welcome to the Heavenly Court family. Half an hour later, At the Alchemy Alliance headquarters, the massive Alchemy Alliance plaque was taken down. It was replaced by the even more imposing Heavenly Court First Pharmaceutical Factory. The originally lofty alchemists were quickly reorganized by Lin Yi. From now on, no more alchemy based on mood or timing. Lin Yi stood on a high platform, lecturing thousands of bewildered alchemists below. Implement assembly line operations. Those who purify only purify, those who fuse only fuse. Dai Tian said, pointing at the clones. Those who refine only refine. 3 shifts, people rest but furnaces don't. Performance-based pay. Assessment system takes effect immediately. Refining a batch of waste pills deducts 10 spirit stones. Refining a batch of top-grade pills rewards 100. Those who don't want to work can leave now. Lin Yi pointed at the gate, then pointed at the sky, at the 1,000 avatars that had not yet dispersed. Avatars. Of course, after leaving, you might encounter some accidents, like being struck by heavenly lightning or tripping to death. After all, the cultivation world is dangerous. No one moved. All the alchemists docilely took out their alchemy furnaces, and under the guidance of the avatars, began learning what standardized industrial production meant. Dai Tian watched the real-time feed from the Alchemy Alliance. Inside the Heavenly Court flagship, we only need to master core technology and capital. Boss, someone from the Azure Cloud sect has arrived, and nodded in satisfaction. That's more like it. They say an envoy has brought generous gifts, and wishes to see you. Azure Cloud sect Dai Tian thought for a moment. That old man who almost snatched Lin Fan away back then. He was from the Azure Cloud sect. Let them in. A moment later, a middle-aged man in a green Taoist robe was led into the great hall. He had a refined appearance, but now his forehead was covered in sweat. He didn't even dare to raise his head upon entering, and directly performed a grand bow. Lai Daoran, Vice-Sect Master of Azure Cloud Sect, pays respects to Lord Dai Tian. That title changed quickly. Dai Tian sat on the throne without speaking. The oppressive aura of a nascent soul cultivator made Lai Daoran feel as if he were stripped naked and thrown into a frozen wasteland. Speak, Dai Tian uttered 2 words, just stared at him silently, hastily pulled a storage pouch from his sleeve, and presented it with both hands. This is a small token from our sect. Dai Tian didn't even glance at it. Lai Daoran gritted his teeth and added, our sect master heard that the Heavenly Court has newly established the Prodigy Special Training Camp. He wishes to send our sect's 10 most talented core disciples for advanced training. Also, aren't you afraid I'll train them to death? Not at all, not at all. Lai Daoran waved his hands repeatedly. To receive guidance from the Heavenly Court is their fortune. Even if it's like what happened to young friend Lin Fan, being struck by lightning. No fear, no fear. Lai Daoran repeatedly waved his hand. To receive guidance from the Heavenly Court is their fortune. Even if it's like being struck by lightning, like young friend Lin Fan. As long as I can lay a perfect foundation, it will be worth it. These past few days, news of Lin Fan's Heavenly Dao Foundation has spread everywhere. Though the process was a bit rough, that's a genuine Heavenly Dao Foundation. Which sect wouldn't be green with envy? Now the Heavenly Court is a big deal. Even the Alchemy Alliance was swallowed up in an instant. If the Azure Cloud sect doesn't cozy up now, how will they survive in Southern Jade later? Sending people is fine. Dai Tian tapped the armrest. But the Heavenly Court's tuition isn't cheap. We understand, we understand. Lai Daoran quickly nodded. 1 million spirit snacks per person per year, plus 30% of the sect's secret realm profits. Dai Tian raised an eyebrow. These sects, for the sake of their next generation, really are willing to bleed dry. Proved, Dai Tian waved a hand, letting Ling Yi handle the arrangements. But let me be clear from the start. Once you enter my camp, life and death are your own responsibility. If you die, I won't compensate. If you're crippled, I won't care. If you want to quit, no refunds. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Lord Dai Tian. Lai Daoran bowed profusely as he backed out, looking happier than if he'd found an immortal artifact. After he left, the system spirit, little demon girl, sidled up with a sly grin. Boss, are you really going to train their disciples for them? This is aiding the enemy. Aiding the enemy. The Demon Lord's army could breach the Central Domain's defenses any day. Southern Jade has too few geniuses. The more prodigies we train, the greater our chances of victory. As for aiding the enemy, Dai Tian let out a scornful laugh, gazing at Lin Fan, still rolling in the mud pit in the distance, a glint of golden light flashing in his eyes. Once these prodigies enter our training camp, and our clones brainwash them, educate them for 3 to 5 years. By then, the techniques they learn will be ours. The pills they use will be sold by us, and the idols they worship will be shaped by us. When they return to their sects and take power, Dai Tian toyed with a chess piece in his hand, gently placing it on the board. Won't Southern Jade be completely ours? This is called cultural invasion, much more refined than just slaughtering them all. Southern Jade, Black Wind Ridge. This was once the nest of a flock of black wind eagles, where fierce winds howled year-round. Sand and stones flew, and even weeds grew as hard as steel needles. Now the place has been renamed, the Heavenly Court's first talent training base. At the entrance stands a massive stone tablet, the line carved in bold, flowing script. If training doesn't kill you, train until it does. Today is the grand opening day. Several dozen dazzling flying boats tore across the sky, landing in the square below Black Wind Ridge. Those who came were all major sects with names in Southern Jade, led by elders at the very least, each followed by a group of arrogant young men and women. These youths were the carefully selected seeds of their respective sects, usually coddled in their sects, afraid they'd break if held, afraid they'd melt if held in the mouth. Each wore brocade robes and jade crowns, with jade pendants at their waists worth more than. Immortal City. Earlier, Lai Daoran, the deputy sect master of Star Cloud Sect, rubbed his hands together, a fawning look on his face as he addressed a black-clad, burly man standing at the entrance. This burly man was a Da, usually in charge of physical training, with arms thicker than Lai Daoran's thighs. Standing there, he was like an iron tower. Chapter 35, the so-called special training, is just shattering worldviews. Senior Ada, these are 10 worthless brats from my sect. Lai Daoran pushed the 10 youths forward, casually slipping a heavy storage pouch into Ada's hand. Please, Senior, take good care of them from now on. Beat them, scold them as you see fit. Just leave them breathing. Lai Daoran said this lightly, but inside his heart was bleeding. These 10 were the Azure Cloud Sect's future hope, each costing 1 million spirit snacks in tuition. That's practically emptying out half the sect's treasury. Da weighed the storage pouch in his hand, then tucked it into his robe. He asked in a low voice, "The money's taken. The man stays won't die, won't be crippled. Also from now on, call me instructor." Just then a sneer rang out from the crowd. "Vice Sect Master, is this the expert you were talking about?" The speaker was a youth with a face as fair as jade, a folding fan twirling in his hand. Arrogance was written all over his brows and eyes. He was the grandson of the intersect Grand Elder of Qingyun sect, named Yi Yao, a dual spirit root genius. At 15, he was already in the early stage of foundation establishment. Among the younger generation of Naniyu, he indeed had the right to be cocky. Yi Yao squinted at Ada, sizing him up, his fan whirring loudly as he fanned it. Looks like nothing more than a big brute, not a trace of spiritual energy fluctuation. Some savage like this can teach cultivation. I think he's just here to swindle money. The other geniuses from various sects joined in the commotion, whispering among themselves, smirks plastered on their faces. Lai Daoran's face turned green. Just as he was about to scold them, Da moved. No one saw how he moved. All they heard was a crisp asterisk smack asterisk. Yi Yao was sent flying sideways. He spun 3 full rotations in midair, then slammed face first into the hard, black stone floor. He skidded over 10 meters before stopping. That expensive folding fan had long since flown off to who knows where. Half his face was swollen like a steamed bun. The entire venue fell into dead silence. Da stood exactly where Yi Yao had been a moment ago, calmly wiping his hands. His voice not loud. His voice rolled across the venue like thunder. First rule when the instructor is speaking. Whoever interrupts gets hit. You dare hit me? Yi Yao scrambled up, covering his face, humiliated and furious. He pointed at Da, trembling. My grandfather is the Grand Elder. Asterisk smack, exclamation asterisk, another slap. This time it was symmetrical. The other half of his face swelled up too. Yi Yao couldn't even get up this time. He lay on the ground, groaning, his eyes rolling back. Da lifted his head, his dead fish eyes utterly devoid of emotion. sweeping over every genius present. Second rule, here there are no identities. Only numbers, whether your grandfather is the Grand Elder or the Heavenly King himself. Once you step through this door, if you're a dragon, you coil; if you're a tiger, you crouch. Those geniuses who had been eager to watch the show felt a chill run down their spines. They shrank their necks, not daring to breathe too loudly. This is way too brutal. This isn't special training. This is a prison camp. Lai Daoran watched from the side, his mouth twitching, but he didn't dare make a sound. Though his heart ached, he could also see that this man from the heavenly court was truly ruthless. Only such a man could forge ruthless disciples. This money was probably well spent, right? All right, parents, get lost. Ada waved his hand impatiently. Come back in 3 months to see the results. Now, everyone, hand over your storage pouches. Magical treasures and pills. Nothing but the clothes on your backs is allowed inside. On what authority? A female disciple from the Blood Saber sect shrieked. Those are my personal belongings. On the authority that I'm in charge here. Ada snapped his fingers. The entire Heaven Court small world shook violently. Suddenly, dense figures emerged from the black wind ridge. 500 men bare-chested, with bulging, knotted muscles, body-refining cultivators, jumped down from the mountain in perfect unison. The entire plaza trembled as they landed. 500 surges of violent blood and Kai energy shot into the sky. Though there was no spiritual pressure, this pure aesthetic of brutality crushed these greenhouse flowers, making their legs buckle. Take them, Ada spat out 2 cold words. The 500 burly men charged into the crowd like wolves and tigers. Screams, cries, and pleas for mercy rose and fell. The once arrogant prodigies were now like plucked quails. His brocade robe and jade garments were stripped off, replaced with coarse, rough-spun hemp short robes. His jade crown and gold hairpins were removed. Regardless of gender, everyone had their hair tied up with a straw rope into a red tube. The storage pouches they usually clung to for dear life were piled up in the center of the square, like a small mountain. Half a stick of incense later, over 100 top geniuses from the male imperial faction, dressed in beggar-like hemp clothes, stood shivering in the cold wind. They were lost. They were helpless. They wanted to go home and find their mommy, very much so. Now they look much more pleasing to the eye. Ada nodded with satisfaction, hands behind his back, pacing before the line. Don't look at me with those eyes. You should thank your sects, who spent a fortune to send you here to suffer. Do you know why you were sent here? Ada stopped and casually pointed at the sturdiest-looking youth. Come out. That's the young master of the refining body sect at the peak of Kai refining. The body of bronze skin and iron bones. He gritted his teeth and stepped out, glaring fiercely at Ada, unconvinced. Ada smiled a ferocious grin. You think I just ambushed you? You think if you used spiritual power, I couldn't do anything to you? The young master of the refining body sect said nothing, but his expression clearly meant that's right. Fine, I'll give you a chance. Ada clapped his hands. Don't say I'm bullying you. Someone younger than you will come out and teach you a lesson. From within the mountain gate, a small figure slowly emerged. Below the main hall, wearing a pair of mud-stained open crotch pants, his upper body bare, skin tanned to a bronze hue, with several patches of plaster stuck haphazardly on it. In his hand, he dragged a black iron rod, twice as long as his own body. Lin Fan sniffled, wiping his nose, glanced at these big brothers and sisters, who were several heads taller than him, yawned and said, Uncle Ada, I still have to go carry bricks. Today's quota is 10,000. If I don't finish, no dinner. Finish this fight and I'll add a chicken leg. Ada raised one finger. Lin Fan's listless eyes instantly lit up, like a starving wolf spotting meat. Really? Don't lie to a kid. Lin Fan slammed the iron rod onto the ground. With an asterisk thud asterisk, the ground cracked into several fissures. The young master of the refining body, sect across from him, froze, then erupted in fury. Heavenly Court, you go too far. Sending a still nursing brat to humiliate me. Whether it's humiliation, you'll know after the fight. Ada stepped aside and began, Wah-ya-ya. I'll tear you apart. The young master of the refining body sect roared, his entire body surging with spiritual energy, his skin taking on a metallic sheen, charging at Lin Fan like a humanoid beast. This charge, even an early Foundation establishment cultivator wouldn't dare meet head-on. Those geniuses all sneered, thinking Heavenly Court had overplayed its hand. Lin Fan stood still, not moving, even scratching his butt, until the opponent was 3 feet away. Lin Fan suddenly moved. No flashy spells, no unnecessary motions. He simply gripped the iron rod with both hands, swung it in a full arc like a baseball bat, and with the power of his waist and abdomen, struck fiercely. Pure strength, ultimate speed. The air was compressed by the iron rod, emitting a piercing scream, with a sickening asterisk crack asterisk that made teeth ache. That iron rod slammed solidly into the young master of the refining body sex chest. His vaunted bronze skin and iron bones caved in, the sound of bones shattering clearly audible. He didn't even have time to scream. His entire body flew up like a golf ball struck hard. Asterisk whoosh asterisk soaring into the sky, turning into a shooting star on the horizon. In an instant, the square fell silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The mockery and disdain on all the geniuses' faces froze solid. What replaced it was a nearly dazed terror, as if they had even forgotten how to breathe. Those geniuses gaped wide, their chins nearly hitting their feet. A 3-year-old child. It sent the young master of the alchemist sect flying with a single staff strike. What the hell kind of freak is this? Lin Fan withdrew his staff, shook his slightly numb little hand, and stared eagerly at Ah Da. Uncle Chicken Leg. Tonight Ah Da will give you a wave. Lin Fan curled his lip, dragged his iron staff and turned to leave, muttering under his breath, adults just dangle empty promises. At least Master is good. Master beats me, but at least he gives me food. Watching Lin Fan's small back disappear through the sect gate, the 100+ geniuses on the plaza now felt their legs trembling like prayer wheels. Even a 3-year-old kid is this monstrous. In the days ahead, was there any hope for them to survive? Ah Da turned around, revealing that set of stark white teeth. Did you see that? That is your role model, Dai Tian said, pointing at the clones. Forget your halo of genius. Here, you are nothing but a bunch of trash. Wake up at 5 every morning. Run 100 lie with weights, no breakfast if you don't finish. Morning combat drills mean getting beat. As long as you don't die, fight to the death. Afternoon theory class. Memorize the heavenly Dao scriptures and the basics of pill refining. Evening medicinal bath to repair your bodies. Prepare to get beaten again the next day. If anyone wants to quit, raise your hand now. Of course, tuition is non-refundable. But if you leave, tuition won't be refunded. Or are you all soft eggs afraid of hardship? No one raised a hand. These geniuses were proud, but they also had face to save. If they were sent back in disgrace like this, how could they ever hold their heads up in the cultivation world again? No one wanted to go back bearing that label. Then stop standing there like idiots. Everyone target the back mountain mine. First move 10,000 stones to warm up. Last one loses tonight's dinner. Run, all of you, run. The crack of a whip split the air across the plaza. A group of young masters and ladies, who usually flew everywhere, now driven by the disciplinary clones, wore grim faces, as they began the darkest 3 months of their lives, and the most transformative, in the core hall of the Heavenly Court's small world. Dai Tian lay back in his armchair. Before him was a massive crystal, streaming live the misery at Blackwind Ridge. Watching those lofty heavenly prodigies, rolling in the mud, Dai Tian held a handful of melon seeds. His mood was exceedingly pleasant. Boss, this is just tormenting the newbies. The little demon girl floated beside him, a lollipop in her mouth. She mumbled indistinctly. Nonsense, this is called adversity education. Dai Tian spat out a seed shell. These greenhouse flowers will one day go to the battlefield. If they don't sweat and cry now, they'll bleed and die later. I'm helping them defy fate and change their destiny. What's a little hardship? Besides, these people do have decent talent. Day 1, watching the swollen-faced Yao in the scene. That kid, though crying as he ran, had a stubborn, unyielding fire in his eyes. Once we knock those bad habits out of him and instill some proper heavenly court values, when he grows up and goes back, he'll be a natural ally of mine. Oh, boss. The little demon girl swiped her finger through the air a few times. The Kai Alliance has reacted. Dai Tian sat up straight. The Kai Alliance got swallowed, and now they can't sit still. the Southern Jade Alliance, teamed up with the Alchemist Guild and issued a joint boycott statement. Not only that, they cut off the raw material supply to all our Heavenly Court branches. especially the mystic iron and red copper for pill refining. Also, the Kai Alliance leader, Iron Mountain, has declared that if the Heavenly Court doesn't back off, he'll invite the old ancestor of the Divine Weapon Manor to come out and wipe out our Divine Weapon Manor. Dai Tian narrowed his eyes. The data on the Southern Domain forces surfaced in his mind. The Divine Weapon Manor is the backer behind the Kai Alliance, and also the Southern Domain, a force second only to the top few major sects. It is said the Manor Lord is an ancient freak who has emerged from the void refinement stage. In his hand, he wields what might be a half-immortal artifact. His combat power is extremely formidable. Cut off the raw materials. Dai Tian smiled. His smile was somewhat cold. This tactic would indeed be fatal against an ordinary merchant guild. Unfortunately, they don't know. My supply source has never relied on buying. But since they've stuck their faces out, it would be impolite not to slap them. On the first day, he stood up and walked to the entrance of the main hall, looking down at the square below, at the 15,000 clones currently drilling. After this period of resource accumulation, another 2,000 clones had broken through to the nascent soul stage. Now the high-end combat power in his hands was enough to sweep across the entire southern domain. Boss, how do you want to handle this? Go directly and crash their place, the little demoness asked excitedly. Dai Tian shook his head. The Artifact Alliance isn't as hard-boned as those blacksmiths from the Pill Alliance. Besides, if I really killed them all, who would be my labor to refine artifacts? Pills can be mass-produced on an assembly line. Artifacts, while also possible, require much higher technical skill from the workers. Didn't they say they wanted a joint boycott? A glint of cunning light flashed in Dai Tian's eyes. Then let's make it big. Spread the order. In 3 days, the Heavenly Court will host the first Southern Domain Dharma Treasure Exposition. Since they're blocking raw materials, then we'll sell finished products, and not just any products, but the kind that will force them into a corner with no way out. I want the entire Southern Domain to know what intelligent Dharma treasures are, what foolproof operation means. Those treasures they refine, still requiring hand seals and incantations, deserve to be swept into the garbage heap of history. Dai Tian casually reached into the void and pulled out an object resembling a pistol. This was a prototype recently developed by the clones, combining concepts from Earth technology with cultivation runes. The spiritual energy burst hand cannon. No spiritual power required to activate it. Just insert spirit stones and fire. A Kai refining stage junior holding this could blow through a Foundation establishment, experts' protective Kai barrier. Once this thing hits the market, the traditional artifact refining system will collapse instantly. The Artifact Alliance, huh? Dai Tian twirled the hand cannon around his finger. Get ready for the dimensional strike of the Industrial Revolution. Chapter 36, The Times Have Changed. Sir, the Artifact Alliance headquarters was located deep within a volcano's belly. The scorching air was thick with the smell of sulfur and molten iron. The endless clang of hammering was the craftsmanship they prided themselves on. At this moment, Alliance leader Iron Mountain stood bare-chested. His muscles knotted like rock. He raised a bowl of strong liquor, his expression one of immense pride. The Heavenly Court, just a bunch of soft-shelled shrimp, only good for fiddling with flowers and grass. He downed the bowl of wine in one gulp and slammed the clay bowl heavily onto the forging table, producing a harsh, grating sound. Pill herbs can be grown in fields, but forging ores must be dug from the Earth's veins. Nearly 70% of all mineral veins are in the hands of us and the major sects. What are they going to use to refine? Across from him, the goateed president of the Rune Inscription Guild stroked his beard, his face full of confidence. Brother Iron Mountain speaks truly. I have already issued a decree. Within the Southern Domain, no rune inscriber dares to carve runes for the Heavenly Court's Dharma treasures. A Dharma treasure without runes is nothing but a pile of scrap metal. Iron Mountain let out a rough, booming laugh upon hearing this. I heard they're holding some kind of Dharma treasure exposition today. I think it's a scrap metal exhibition. Come on, let's go take a look, brothers, and see how the Heavenly Court makes a public fool of itself. At the Heavenly Court Merchant Guild headquarters, the crowd was a surging tide. The cultivators' curiosity was enough to drown out their fear of the Artifact Alliance's retaliation. Everyone craned their necks, wanting to see what tricks the Heavenly Court with its lifeline cut off, could possibly pull out. Yet the venue setup was extremely strange. There were no jade display stands radiating treasure light. There were no seductive female attendants explaining the scene. In the center of the square stood only a massive black platform. Behind it was erected a giant recording stone, 10 zhang tall. On the screen, 4 large characters slowly drifted. Change the world. Playing tricks and conjuring spirits. All flash and no substance. Taishan, along with a group of elders, rudely shoved through the crowd. He crossed his arms over his chest and stared coldly at the empty platform. If you can't produce something worthwhile today, I'll smash this platform to pieces on the spot. The moment his voice fell, all the light sources in the square instantly went out. A single beam of light struck the center of the platform with precision. Then something miraculous appeared. He wore a well-tailored black robe. No flash of light heralded his arrival. No streak of escape magic followed him. Step by step, simply, he walked calmly out from the shadows behind the stage. His hands were empty. Only yet his collar was pinned an unassuming sound-amplifying artifact. Good afternoon, fellow cultivators. His calm voice, amplified by the artifact, spread to every corner of the square. It was clear and carried an unshakable steadiness. Before we begin, I'd like to ask a question. Lin Yi's gaze swept across the crowd. Finally, it landed on those cultivators, who carried swords and blades on their backs. How many years did it take for you to wield your magical treasures as if they were part of your own arm? After a brief silence below the stage, someone shouted back, I've trained with my sword for 10 years. Only now have I achieved unity of man and sword. 10 years, Lin Yi nodded. Yet how many 10-year spans does a common life have? Kai refining cultivators live no more than 100 years. And you spend 1/10 of that life just to familiarize yourself with a tool. Forgive my bluntness, but that is foolish. Outrageous, Taishan erupted in fury. Unity of man and weapon. Communion of heart and mind. This is the great path of Kai refining. Magical treasures have spirits. How can they be mere cold tools? Lin Yi smiled. That smile carried a hint of pity for an outdated era. He didn't even glance at Taishan again. Instead, he simply took something from his sleeve. A black, strangely shaped L-shaped metal lump. It had no trace of spiritual energy fluctuation. No ornate spiritual patterns. Ugly and cold. It was filled with a mechanical sense. Utterly out of place in this world. Allow me to introduce to you all the first mass-produced personal defense weapon of the Heavenly Court. The Thunderfire Model 98. Spiritual energy rechargeable. Lin Yi raised the large recording stone behind him. On the screen, a clear image of the object appeared. Grip trigger. Barrel and a strange slot. It requires no blood bonding to claim ownership. No need for years of nurturing with your spiritual sense. And certainly no need for you to train for 10 years. Lin Yi took out the most ordinary low-grade spirit stone from his pocket. With a click, he inserted it into the slot at the bottom of the grip. Then, with a gentle flick of his thumb, he said, as long as you have spiritual power, as long as you have fingers, even if you're just a mortal with no cultivation at all. Lin Yi suddenly turned around. Before his words faded, he raised his hand and pulled the trigger. No sign of spiritual energy gathering. No process of chanting a spell. With a sharp, crisp bang, a blue flame burst from the muzzle. 300 meters away, the testing stone, specially used to test magical treasures, with a hardness comparable to a body, Refiner's physical defense. Shattered on impact, rubble flew in all directions. A charred black hole, clear through from front to back, appeared starkly in the center of the stone. The square fell into dead silence. It was as if even breathing had been cut off. Everyone's eyes were wide open. Their mouths hung open wide enough to fit an egg. A single low-grade spirit stone. No spiritual energy fluctuation. And it pierced through the testing stone in an instant. Impossible. Taishan let out a sharp scream, as if possessed by a demon. Absolutely impossible. Without spiritual patterns to guide it. How could the energy of a spirit stone be instantly condensed and unleashed? This defies every fundamental principle of Kai refining. Then Yi blew the wisp of smoke curling from the gun's muzzle, as if he had just done something utterly trivial. This isn't Kai refining. This is spiritual energy engineering. I don't believe it. The sect elder behind Iron Mountain roared and leaped forward. He produced a heavy, profound iron shield. That's just your trickery. This old man's Xiu and Gui shield is a top-grade defensive artifact. It can block a full-force strike from a Foundation establishment mid-stage cultivator. If you've got the guts, try it again. Another gunshot rang out. A blue energy bullet left a straight afterimage streaking through the air. It struck the center of the shield with pinpoint accuracy. No stalemate, no deflection. That shield, which the Kai refining elder had prided himself on as a top-grade artifact, was as fragile as a pane of paper. It was pierced through in an instant. Then, the raging energy detonated violently inside the shield, tearing him into a shower of blood and flesh. The elder was sent flying by the terrifying shockwave, spitting a mouthful of blood midair, his eyes filled with nothing but boundless horror. Oh, I forgot to mention, Lin Yi's tone remained as calm as still water, as if stating a simple fact. 98 points per shot. Internally, it uses the latest spiral spirit-gathering barrel technology. Its penetration is 3 times that of a bronze-grade flying sword. As for the firing rate, he pulled the trigger again. Bang, 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 bang. The dense gunfire merged into a single roar, like the drumbeat of death itself. The remaining stone pillars in the distance, dozens of feet tall, within the span of just 2 breaths, were utterly ground to dust by the relentless barrage. 3 shots per breath. Lin Yi unloaded the empty temporary spirit magazine and swapped in a new one with fluid, practiced motions, filled with a brutal yet pleasing aesthetic. Just swap the magazine and you can fire endlessly. No need to worry about spiritual energy depletion, and no need to fear divine sense exhaustion. But the most important point is, Lin Yi raised one finger. That single finger seemed like the final straw that broke the old era's back. Its price, 99 spirit stones. The crowd of low-grade cultivators went completely insane. 99 spirit stones for one. The crappiest low-grade flying sword costs 300. And you still have to painstakingly refine it yourself. One fight and your spiritual energy's dry. This thing hits harder, fires faster, and doesn't even cost mana. Just 99. Give me 10. I want 10. I'll take them all. From now on, whoever dares mess with me, I'll show them why flowers are red. Screw bitter cultivation. Screw unity of man and Kai. I'm buying a hand cannon. Those loose cultivators struggling at the bottom. Their eyes turned bloodshot. They'd been bullied by sect disciples, exploited by high-level cultivators. Wasn't it just because their artifacts weren't as good? Their cultivation wasn't as high. Now Heaven's Court had given them a chance for all beings to be equal. You think your Kai refining is impressive. 10 Kai refining cultivators, each with one of these. They'd turn you into a sieve in seconds. Iron Mountain's face turned as pale as paper. He watched those cultivators, nearly mad with frenzy, saw the contempt and disdain in their eyes for traditional artifacts, and felt the world spin around him, the craftsmanship he had prided himself on his entire life. At that moment, being shattered into pieces by a torrent called industrialization. This is heresy. This is demonic trickery. Iron Mountain let out his final wail. Hoarse and desperate. Everyone, don't be fooled by him. These things have no soul. This is a desecration of the true path of cultivation. Soul, Lin Yi sneered coldly and snapped his fingers. 2 muscular clones, each 2.5 meters tall, with bulging muscles, carried a massive metal tube as thick as a bowl, and walked up. The tube was engraved with incredibly complex array patterns, exuding an aura of destruction that chilled the heart. For, to deal with the noble souls hidden behind certain words, we've also launched an upgraded version of the spirit cannon. He patted the thick tube. The Divine Dragon 1, a man-portable shoulder-fired spiritual energy rocket launcher, loaded with mid-grade spirit stones. 1 shot, 1 soul. A mere early-stage golden core cultivator can be directly blasted to death if careless. Even if they activate their protective spiritual armor, it can shake them until their soul is disoriented, making them question their very existence. The spirit cannon's gaze fell upon the pale-faced Iron Mountain. His smile was kind. Sect leader Iron Mountain, would you like to experience its soul firsthand? Iron Mountain instinctively took half a step back. His void refining instinct screamed a frantic warning. That tube was extremely dangerous. Though it couldn't kill him, it would absolutely make him lose all face. Yu Iron Mountain's fingers trembled as he pointed at 01. You're destroying the foundation of the Southern Domain's Kai refining. Cut off your raw materials, and let's see how much you can produce. 01 looked at him like he was an idiot. Who told you this thing needs mystic iron? He casually broke off a piece of the gun's outer casing. High-strength polymer phosphorus compound. The main materials are black oil mud and waste phosphorus slag. As for the core barrel, it's our Heavenly Quartz exclusive alloy. The amount used is minimal, and the cost is negligible. Those precious metals you've locked down. Keep them for making your own iron pots. Iron Mountain could no longer hold back his rage, which surged to his heart. A mouthful of blood sprayed out violently, killing someone and then tormenting their soul. This wasn't just stealing his business. It was turning the very means of his livelihood into a joke. Heavenly Court, Iron Mountain shoved aside the elder supporting him. His face twisted like a vengeful ghost. In disgrace, he invoked his flying artifact. This enmity is irreconcilable. Let's go. I'll invite the divine weapon Manner's ancient ancestor to emerge. I refuse to believe. You can withstand the fury of a void refining true lord. Watching the furious crowd flee in disarray. The square erupted in laughter like a choral tsunami. The spirit cannon didn't pursue them. Instead, he slowly turned and spread his arms toward the frenzied crowd below. Everyone, don't rush. We have ample stock. Also, the Heavenly Court membership card launches today. Recharge 10,000 spirit stones, and you'll receive a free rocket experience ticket. The times have changed. My friends on the high platform, radiance was boundless. Within a minor incident, the first Heavenly King casually scattered the melon seed shells in his hand, a cold smirk curling at the corner of his mouth. Industrial revolution versus a handcraft workshop. This isn't business. It's the crushing force of civilization. Little Demoness, inform Big A. Since the divine weapon Manor wants to stick its neck out, then prepare to sever it. That void refining old freak. Perfect timing. My clone army hasn't tasted void refining blood yet. The southern domain sky had completely changed color over a gun priced at 99 spirit stones. The divine weapon Manor sat in the desolate western lands of the southern domain. The entire manor was built atop a massive Sword Heart mountain range. Within the manor, murderous intent now filled the air. The humiliated sect leader Iron Mountain knelt in the square outside the main hall, not daring to even breathe loudly. An old man in a gray robe, with hair and beard both white, sat cross-legged on a cushion, polishing a 3-foot clear wind iron sword in his hands. He was the divine weapon Manor's supreme elder, a mid-stage void refining cultivator, whose swordsmanship ranked in the top 3 of the southern domain. You're saying that Heavenly Court has created something that requires no binding, no spiritual energy to nurture, and only needs spirit stones to pierce through foundation establishment defenses. Iron Sword's voice was very calm, so calm it sent chills down Iron Mountain's spine. Yes, Senior, a low-grade mystic spirit shield was pierced through in one shot by that thing, without even time to react. Iron Mountain gritted his teeth. The most infuriating part is that thing only costs 99 spirit stones. Now the southern domain's rogue cultivators have gone mad, all scrambling to buy 99 spirit stone items. Iron Sword's polishing hand stopped. He looked up, a strange glint flashing in his murky eyes. This price is no longer about doing business. This price is no longer about doing business. You're destroying our livelihood. Iron Sword put his sword on his knee. If what you say is true, within a year, the entire traditional Kai refining system of Naniyu will collapse. Iron Mountain kowtowed like a pestle pounding garlic. Please, Grand Elder, seek justice for us. Iron Sword did not agree immediately. He stared at the clear wind sword in his hand for a long time. Suddenly he asked, this sword of mine, from ore selection to forging, took 30 years. Do you think that so-called industrial product can compare to it? Iron Mountain was stunned. He wanted to say no, but the words caught in his throat, because that answer to cultivators no longer mattered. Kai refining stage cultivators, whether it's a 30-year famous sword or a 3-day quick sword, they only know which is cheaper, which can save their lives. Seeing Iron Mountain's expression, Iron Sword sighed. Iron Sword lightly flicked the blade with his finger. A crisp sword hum echoed through the empty hall. The times are changing, he muttered to himself. But then, this old bones of mine can no longer keep up. Iron Sword rose, stepping onto his sword and shooting into the sky. He would go meet this heavenly court himself. Chapter 37, The Old Freak of the Practice Grounds. No, that's a new target. A rift was torn in the sky over Naniyu. Not a metaphor, a literal tear in the physical sense. A ghastly white sword scar hung across the sky above the heavenly court expo, lingering without fading. Sharp sword aura rained down like a storm, snuffing out the lively clamor of the square in an instant. The scattered cultivators queuing to buy Thunderfire 98 felt their scalps tingle, as if a sharp sword was pressed against their throats. They dared not even breathe heavily. The once clear sky quickly darkened. A suffocating pressure, heavy and oppressive, weighed on everyone's heart. It was the crushing of life's hierarchy, void refining stage. In Naniyu, aside from the secluded harmony stage, this was the ceiling, a terrestrial immortal, a being whose word could decide life and death. An old man in a gray robe, hands clasped behind his back, stepped down step by step along the spatial rift. He did not wield a sword, for he himself was a sword. As he descended, the surrounding air seemed to be sliced into countless tiny fragments, emitting a faint, hissing sound. Iron Sword, Grand Elder of the Divine Weapon Manor. Behind him, Iron Mountain, now stood with his back straight, the earlier terror on his face completely gone, replaced by a swaggering arrogance, like a fox borrowing a tiger's might. He pointed at Lingyi below, shouting viciously, "Ancestor, it's this man. It's them using those demonic arts to ruin our foundation." Iron Sword ignored Iron Mountain. His gaze swept coldly across the scene, finally landing on the mountain of Thunderfire 98. He reached out with a gesture, and a hand cannon on display flew into his hand. Iron Sword's murky old eyes narrowed. His fingers lightly brushed over the cold gun barrel. "So this is what you've made." His voice was hoarse, like two rusty iron plates grinding together. No spirit patterns, no spiritual nature, and even the material is scrap. This trash dares to be called a magic artifact. Crack, the hard alloy hand cannon in his hand, was crushed like tofu into iron mud, falling to the ground with a soft thud. This is an insult to the Dao. Iron Sword patted the iron filings off his hand, his gaze finally settling on Lingyi, standing on the high platform. "End yourself. Don't dirty this old man's hands." The square fell into dead silence. Everyone looked at Lingyi, facing a death sentence from a void refining old freak. No one thought the heavenly court could turn things around. This was no longer a problem numbers could solve. Below void refining, all are ants. That was the iron law of the cultivation world. Yet Lingyi smiled. He straightened his collar, ruffled by the wind, still wearing that same expression. Flawless professional smile that left no room for criticism. "Old sir, you have damaged our display samples." Lingyi pointed at the iron sludge on the ground. "Compensation at 3 times the marked price. Pay 300 in cash now, or charge it to the Divine Weapon Manor's account." The entire venue erupted in uproar. "Crazy. At a time like this, you're still talking about compensation. This is asking for a short life." Tai Jianzi was stunned for a moment. Then enraged, he laughed harshly. "Fine, fine, fine. These youngsters today not only walk the wrong path, but their minds are also addled. Since that's the case, this old man will send you on your way." Lingyi cut him off, the smile on his face gradually fading, replaced by a cold, mechanical sensation. "Sorry, our path is very wide, but yours has come to an end." Lingyi snapped his fingers. Level 1 combat readiness. With a rustle, the 1,000 divine transformation realm clones, who had been neatly lined up maintaining order, moved in perfect unison. They did not draw flying swords, nor did they chant incantations. A full 1,000 people, their movements synchronized, as if cast from a single mold. Simultaneously, they pulled out thick metal tubes from behind their backs, Divine Dragon 1 rocket launchers, 1,000 dark, gaping muzzles, instantly locked on a Tai Jianzi in midair, being locked onto by 1,000 low-level cultivators. Should have been a joke to avoid refinement cultivator. But at this moment, Tai Jianzi's heart inexplicably skipped a beat. That feeling was like an elephant being stared down by 1,000 venomous wasps, a bunch of ants, wielding a few broken iron pipes, thinking they can defy the heavens. Tai Jianzi snorted coldly. With a wave of his embroidered sleeve, his sword domain opened. Boom! The space within 100 jang radius instantly solidified. Countless invisible sword kai slithered through the air, forming an absolute domain of death. Within this domain, he was the god. Any attack before it could touch his body will be shredded to pieces by the sword kai. This was the confidence of a void refinement cultivator. Having grasped a mere thread of spatial law, he stood undefeated. Fire Linyi's voice was flat, without any inflection. Bang, 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 bang. 1,000 rockets, loaded with mid-grade spirit stones, trailed long tails of flame, roaring toward the sky like a reverse meteor shower. The scene was magnificent. A dense, hair-raising barrage instantly covered every angle around Tai Xianxia. Child's play, Tai Xianxia's eyes were full of disdain. His protective sword aura flared up, ready to withstand this wave head-on, to show the world what true unshakability meant. The first rocket slammed into the sword rain. HMPH. Flames exploded. Spiritual energy raged. The sword domain remained unmoved. Tai Shan behind him laughed loudly. Ha ha ha. See that? This is the gap. This is boom. 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 His laughter was drowned out. It wasn't just one. It was 1,000, and they were concentrated on a single point. When the first one exploded, the second slammed into the exact same spot. Then the third, the fourth, the so-called absolute defense, in the face of absolute numbers and firepower, became a false proposition. The first 100 rockets the domain held. The first 500, the domain began to tremble. Its light flickered, dimming and brightening. By the 800th, Tai Xianxia's expression changed. The violent spiritual energy explosions were not without pattern. They produced a strange resonance, frantically tearing at the already unstable space around them. Lord, no, the moment the 1,000th rocket detonated, that arrogant, invincible sword domain, shattered like glass, sky-filling flames and smoke, instantly swallowed Tai Xianxia and Tai Shan. A massive shockwave swept outward. The protective formation on the plaza below let out a strained creak under the weight. The scattered cultivators watching were shaken, stumbling left and right. Yet each one widened their eyes in excitement. They had shattered a group of divine transformation artifacts. An iron pipe broke the turtle shell of a refining void artifact. That law giant hand, representing the demon emperor's will. Iron sword was still in the air, but no longer so graceful. His gray robe was torn into strips. His white hair was a mess like a chicken nest. His face was covered in black ash. Even a trace of blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. And Iron Mountain, hiding behind him, was worse off. Though protected by the old ancestor, he was still shaken by the blast, bleeding from 7 orifices and passed out. Fine, fine, fine. Iron Sword was truly enraged now, being made such a fool by a bunch of ants. If this gets out, where would the face of his divine weapon manner go? I'll rip out your souls and refine them, never to be reborn for eternity. The clear wind sword in his hand let out a piercing, mournful cry. A terrifying aura enough to chill one's heart surged into the sky. Heaven and earth changed color. Winds and clouds churned wildly. With this sword, he was going all out. Trouble Linyi frowned slightly. Mid-stage refining void, ordinary firepower coverage isn't enough. Within a minor incident, Dai Tian looked at the screen, tossed aside the melon seed shells in his hand. If it's not enough, then up the ante. Activate the divine fusion and send a Da in. This old bastard is thick-skinned and tough, perfect as a punching bag for a Da. On the square, a Da, who had been standing in the corner without moving, suddenly took a step forward. At the same time, the 99 clone cultivators behind him. Their bodies suddenly turned into streams of pure golden light and surged violently into a Da's body. Crack, 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 the sound of bones popping, enough to make one's teeth ache. A Da's already burly frame began to inflate like a balloon, exploded wildly. 3 meters, 5 meters, 10 meters, his clothes instantly shattered. What was revealed was no longer bronze skin, but layer upon layer of muscle armor, forged like black gold, with eerie dark red patterns flowing across it. A terrifying aura, like that of an ancient beast, burst forth from a Da. No spiritual energy fluctuation, only pure extreme blood and Kai power. So dense it formed a tangible pillar of smoke that shot straight into the sky. It actually forcibly scattered half of the aura gathering in the sky. The sword intent was disrupted. Iron Sword, who was about to unleash his ultimate move, froze in place. His eyelids twitched wildly. staring down at the monster below, that was still growing larger. A chill shot from the soles of his feet straight to his crown. What kind of demonic technique is this? Da lifted his head. That massive face showed no expression. Its two eyes were like blood-red lanterns. With a stomp boom, the ground collapsed into a huge crater. Cracks like a spiderweb spread for 1,000 meters. Da's figure vanished. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Iron Sword. Too fast, so fast, even the divine sense couldn't track it. Scram! Iron Sword, in a panic, instinctively swung his sword to cut. This strike contained his lifelong cultivation, enough to cleave mountains and overturn seas. A crisp sound rang out. No blood splattered. Da's hand, larger than a millstone and black as gold, steadily caught the blade. Sparks flew in all directions. Sword Kai cut across Da's palm, but only left a few white marks. Impossible. This is a demi-immortal artifact. Iron Sword screamed. His eyes nearly popped out, catching a demi-immortal artifact with bare hands. What is this? Is his body that of a true dragon? Exactly what I said, revealing a mouthful of stark white fangs. No matter how powerful the treasure, it needs strength to wield it. Hand it over, under the horrified gaze of everyone. That divine weapon Manners, 1,000-year-old demi-immortal artifact, the clear wind sword, was forcibly yanked away by Da and tossed into the small world. My sword, Iron Sword's heart and soul were linked to it. He spat out a mouthful of old blood. Before he could react, Da's other hand had already swung around in a full arc. It was a plain and unadorned slap. No fancy tricks, only enough power to shatter space itself. The loud crack of the slap was even more shocking than the explosion of 1,000 rockets just now. Tai Xianxia's protective spiritual light shattered like paper. Half of his face bones were directly crushed into pieces. His entire body, like a mosquito hit by a fly swatter, at a speed barely visible to the naked eye, crashed diagonally into the ground. With a thunderous impact, a barren mountain at the edge of the square was directly pierced through. Dust and smoke billowed. Da did not stop. He descended from the air and landed heavily on the ruins. In the ruins, Tai Xianxia was covered in blood. His breath was as faint as a thread. Where was any trace of his grandmaster demeanor? He looked up in terror, at that figure like a demon god. Trembling, he begged for mercy. Don't kill me. I am the supreme elder of divine weapon Manor. I have money. Da tilted his head. His massive finger dug into his ear. Since you're here, don't bother leaving. I've heard that the nascent soul of a Xianxia cultivator burns quite well. The flames are pretty strong. Da raised his foot. This stomp would be the end. I surrender. I surrender. Tai Xianxia, desperate to live after 7 near-death experiences. Dignity meant nothing. Da's foot stopped an inch above his nose. The wind pressure made Tai Xianxia's face sting. Lin Yi slowly flew over, holding a labor contract that had been prepared long ago. Sign it, Lin Yi asked with a smile. Sign it. Sign it. Tai Xianxia wept bitterly. Good, Lin Yi threw the contract onto his face. Sign it. From now on, Divine Weapon Manor will be renamed the Second Heavenly Court Arsenal. You will be the factory manager, responsible for the assembly line development of high-grade artifacts. No base salary, only commission. Work 8 hours a day, 1 day off per week. Tai Xianxia looked at the contract, wanting to cry but having no tears. This isn't recruitment. This is clearly enslaving black laborers. But looking at Da's massive foot, ready to stomp down at any moment, he shakily bit his finger and pressed his blood fingerprint onto it. Inside the Heavenly Court flagship, Dai Tian toyed with the King Feng sword he had just snatched. Looked up at this scene, nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. The manpower for the Xianxia stage is also complete. Ling Yi sent out a channel announcement, saying that the Heavenly Court, to repay our vast customer base, especially launching the Xianxia Ancestors self-defense set. Also, Divine Weapon Manor is officially merged into the Heavenly Court's industrial chain. From now on, the Southern Domain will no longer have any decent monopoly systems. The elf little witch held a lollipop her clone had made for her in her left hand, and tossed the demon mirror stolen from the demon realm in her right. Crossing his legs, fluttered in midair with small wings on her back, watching Lin Yi's operations on the screen. While teasing her boss, you've monopolized all the technological barriers in the Southern Domain. Aren't you afraid of causing public outrage? Public outrage? Dai Tian looked at the scattered cultivators, frantically buying artifacts, and worshipping the heavenly court on the screen. HMPH. Once I enter seclusion, there will surely be a great debate. When the majority stands on my side, the remaining minority isn't called public outrage. It's called rebellion. And as for rebels, a cold glint flashed in Dai Tian's eyes. We don't need to lift a finger. These scattered cultivators, who have lived through hard times, armed with our technological artifacts, will be enough to give them a hard time. On this day in the southern domain, the two giants, the Alliance and the Abandoned Alliance, became history. The Heavenly Court, this behemoth, stepping on the bones of the old era, revealed its ferocious and efficient fangs. And this was only the beginning. That kid Lin Fan has been beaten up enough in the mud pit. It's time to let him out for a spin, to give the younger generation of the southern domain a little heavenly court. Shock Chapter 38, System Upgrade. Kiss me first, then we'll talk. In the core hall of the Heavenly Court's minor incident, Dai Tian sat in the seat of honor, with a stack of account books before him. These ledgers were the records compiled by Lingyi, covered densely with figures, detailing the Heavenly Court's recent income. The Alliance alone earned 3 million spirit hours daily. The Drama Alliance earned 5 million spirit hours daily. Prepaid tuition for the Heavenly Exchange Training Camp, 10 million spirit hours. Single-day sales at the Artifact Expo, 8 million spirit hours. Dai Tian grew more satisfied the more he read. The corners of his mouth nearly split to his ears. How long had it been? From a penniless transmigrator, he had transformed into the richest man in the southern domain. Boss, the little demon girl appeared without warning. Emerging from the void, her small wings fluttered into blurs, her eyes shining like light bulbs from his past life, staring straight at the mountain of snacks. Seeing her expression, Dai Tian's heart skipped a beat. Every time this girl looked like that, trouble was sure to follow. Spit it out. What are you trying to swindle from me this time? Oh, boss, why do you have to put it so harshly? The little demon girl circled around Dai Tian. I'm doing this for your own good. Look at how vast your territory is now. Your clones can barely cover it all. Using a projection map is so inconvenient. And every time you want to teleport, you have to send a clone first. Flying over to set a marker, what a hassle. So, the little demon girl leaned close to Dai Tian's ear and whispered mysteriously, there's a treasure feature in the system called the Divine Travel Sand Table. Once you activate it, your entire domain will turn into a 3D model on it, one that shines with golden light. Just tap a spot, and you can instantly project a clone there. No more need to send clones flying off to scout the way. Direct and thunderous. Now that's a true emperor's strategic treatment. Dai Tian raised an eyebrow. This feature was indeed good. Right now, every time he wanted to deploy a clone to a new place, he had to send one flying over first to mark the spot. Time-consuming and exhausting. If he had this map, his efficiency would multiply several times over. How many snacks? Dai Tian cut straight to the point. The little demon girl grinned slyly, holding up 5 fingers. 500,000. 500,000. Get lost, Dai Tian turned his head away, not even looking at her. Oh, come on. Boss, you need to think big. The little demon girl grew anxious, floating in front of Dai Tian. This is a strategic level feature. It can double the speed of your territory expansion. What's 500,000 snacks? You're raking in money every day now. This is just pocket change. Pocket change? Dai Tian sneered. Then pay for it yourself. I don't have any snacks. The little demon girl muttered under her breath. Then there you have it. Dai Tian flipped open the account book and continued reading. If you've got no money, don't pretend to be generous. The little demon girl spun in the air a few times, her eyes darting around slyly. Suddenly, as if struck by an idea, her face flushed bright red. Boss, don't say I have no money. No, I mean't. The little demon girl fidgeted. How about this? If you kiss me, I'll give you a discount. The brush in Dai Tian's hand clattered onto the table, a strange glint flashing in his murky eyes. He wondered if he'd heard wrong. What did you say? I said. The little demon girl's voice grew softer. If you kiss me, I'll give you a better price. The whole fell silent for 3 seconds. Then Dai Tian laughed. You lousy system, trying to take advantage of me. What do you mean, take advantage? The little demon girl bristled, her small wings flapping noisily. I'm giving you a deal. Do you know how much this feature costs originally? 10 million. I've already given you a 50% discount. 10 million. Dai Tian narrowed his eyes. Didn't you just say 500,000? That was a friendship price. All right, all right. Dai Tian waved his hand. Spit it out. What's the real price? The little demon girl bit her lip, then held up 3 fingers. 300,000. Can't go lower. Dai Tian stared at her for a long moment. This girl might be a scammer most of the time, but the advice he gave at the critical moment was indeed useful. And this map feature, he really needed it, so the deal closed at 2 million. The little demon girl agreed without hesitation, so fast that Dai Tian wondered if he'd been tricked. Wait, Dai Tian called out, stopping the little demon girl who was about to bolt. That thing you mentioned just now, which one? The little demon girl's face flushed again. She clasped her hands behind her back, her little wings fluttering nonstop behind her, as she drew circles on the ground with her toe. That actually isn't impossible. But, oh, forget it, Dai Tian waved a hand. I was just teasing you. The little demon girl froze. Dai Tian stood up and walked to the window, gazing at the army of clones training outside. You're a system spirit, what would you even do with that? The little demon girl lowered her head and murmured, I don't know either. It's just, I saw it written like that in those picture books. Dai Tian turned to look at the usually brash, but now shy little girl. He suddenly laughed. All right, stop pretending. From now on, don't read so much nonsense. Hurry up and activate the map feature for me. I've got real business to handle. The little demon girl waved her hand, a bit disappointed, and a beam of light unfolded before Dai Tian. It was a 3-dimensional map, covered in densely packed points of light. Each point represented a stronghold, Heavenly Court headquarters, Alliance of Sects, Black Wind Ridge training camp. Each stronghold was surrounded by a faint halo. That's the radiation range. Right now, your strongholds have already covered 30% of the southern domain. The little demon girl resumed her professional explanation. As long as you keep expanding, before long, you'll bring the entire southern domain under your control. Dai Tian studied the map carefully. He noticed a few blank spots. What are these areas? This one is the territory of the Soul Refining Sect. This one is the Snow Blade Sect. And this one, the little demon girl pointed to the largest blank area on the map. The 10,000 mountains. The 10,000 mountains. Dai Tian's eyes lit up. That's the biggest gathering place for demon beasts in the southern domain. Who knows how many heavenly treasures and demon beast inner cores are in there? Even though 01 has already made a deal with the Tiger clan. If I could take the whole place, boss, I'd advise you not to think about it. The little demon girl saw through his intentions. In the 10,000 mountains, there's more than one refining void demon emperor, and even a legendary unity demon venerable. Right now, you can beat one refining void. But if you provoke the entire demon race, who said I'm going to fight head-on? Dai Tian smiled. First, collect some demon beast essence blood. Then exchange it for a batch of demon beast clones. Demon beast clones. The little demon girl was stunned. What are you planning? Since I can't beat them, I'll blend in. A sly glint flashed in Dai Tian's eyes. Have the clones disguise themselves as demon beasts. Infiltrate the 10,000 demon mountains and slowly gnaw away at them. When the time is right, coordinate from inside and outside and take out the demon emperor's lair in one strike. The little demon girl gasped. Boss, you're ruthless, right back at you. Dai Tian shot her a glance. 2 million spirit stones flew out of his storage pouch, turning into streams of light that plunged into the system. The spatial map function was officially activated. The entire terrain of the southern domain was now clearly displayed before Dai Tian's eyes. He raised a finger and tapped several spots on the map. 01. Get ready. Starting tomorrow, we're going to pull off some big moves. Outside the hall, 01 bowed respectfully. Yes, boss. Dai Tian dismissed the map and turned to the little demon girl. Oh, by the way, about that thing earlier. The little demon girl took a cautious step back. Next time you bargain, make sure to state the terms clearly in advance. Dai Tian flashed an infuriating grin. Otherwise, I might think you actually want me to kiss you. The little demon girl's face turned red with anger. He grabbed the teacup from the table and hurled it over. Dai Tian sidestepped to dodge it. Laughing heartily, he strode out of the great hall, leaving only the little demoness hovering in midair, stomping her feet in place. Bastard! You absolute bastard! She cursed for a long while before suddenly stopping. Her small hand touched her own cheek. Actually, if he were sincere, it wouldn't be impossible. Her voice grew softer and softer, until it finally vanished into thin air. Chapter 39. Undercurrents in the Demon Realm within the Small World. Etienne sat atop the Grand Hall. He casually dismissed the map interface. His gaze shifted toward another direction in the void. That was the coordinate of the Demon Realm. Ever since the last rampage in the Demon Realm that enraged the Demon Emperor, he had ordered Chang Lu to keep a low profile, to lie low for now that the situation in Nanyu had basically stabilized. It was time to check on the Demon Realm. Dai Tian's mind stirred. He connected to Chang Lu's consciousness link. Boss Chang Lu's voice rang out in his mind, tinged with a hint of exhaustion, but far more excitement. Give me the rundown. Dai Tian leaned back in his chair. How's the Demon Realm been lately? Any new moves from Mo Dai and Yiyu? Hey, boss, you guessed right. A rustling sound came from Chang Lu's end, as if he was organizing something. Mo Dai has been furious ever since we pissed him off last time. The guy's practically gone mad. During this time, he's turned the Demon Realm upside down. Every day, he sends troops everywhere to arrest and interrogate people, trying to find out it was our exploding heaven sect. A faint smile curled at the corner of Dai Tian's lips. So, has he found any leads? Hey, boss, aren't you asking the obvious? Chang Lu laughed smugly. We covered our tracks too cleanly. Besides, these avatars of ours are originally in demonic form. Mingling in the Demon Realm, there's no way to spot a flaw. But Chang Lu paused. Yu has been making a big move recently. Dai Tian sat up straight. What kind of move? Ever since we crippled him last time, the Demon Emperor locked him up in the Demon Emperor Palace. He only came out recently. I heard he's already broken through to the Demon Emperor realm, and he's been gathering troops. Chang Lu's voice turned serious. And on a massive scale, at least over 100,000 demon soldiers, several tens of thousands of demon generals, and quite a few nascent soul demon marshals, and soul transformation demon lords as high-ranking commanders. What's the target? Dai Tian narrowed his eyes. Looks like last time, we really lit a fire under this chosen one. Of the demon realm, Lin Fan is still in the foundation establishment stage, and Yiyu has already reached the void refining realm. It should be, Chang Lu said. I heard those demon generals gossiping in private, saying the demon emperor ordered that Yiyu must make a contribution on the immortal demon battlefield in 3 months. Dai Tian tapped his fingers lightly on the armrest. 3 months? That timing is very delicate. Boss, should we? Chang Lu's tone carried a hint of eagerness. Not yet, Dai Tian waved his hand. Now isn't the time. Let him go to the immortal demon battlefield first and stockpile some treasures. We'll just keep robbing him when the time comes. Understood, Dai Tian thought for a moment. Capture me a batch. No need for too high a realm. From demon soldiers to demon generals.